Welcome back to another segment of Community Radio. I'm your host, Kim, and today we are going to continue the conversation about Birth of a Nation. And I finally got to see it. Yay! I got to see it last night. I was so excited to go and see this. And it was so interesting. I was the only person in the movie theater. So I had the whole theater to myself. And I was just thinking, like, did the movie just open or is it on its way out? Like, I was so shocked that there was no one, not a single person in the theater. And I think it just opened. I don't think it's been out very long. So that's kind of interesting. It's usually as soon as a Black movie comes out, like, we don't see ourselves so much on the screens. As soon as it comes out, we're going to go and, rush to support it. So I thought it was interesting that there was no one there. But anyway, I wanted to continue the conversation we were having on Tuesday, as well as some of those conversations that we had last strong about self-hatred. And it's very interesting that all of these topics kind of tie in together, on the self-hatred shows that we were talking about. We're just saying that, it goes so much deeper than just bleaching our skin and straightening our hair. So there's a lot of different components to how we display that we really don't like each other very much. And so, again, some of those things that we brought up kind of tied into this movie and some things that were brought up about the movie. So today we're going to just kind of finish up those conversations those things that we didn't get to talk about on Tuesday because, one, I had not seen the movie, but like I said, now I've finally seen it, so I'm really excited to talk about it. And we're going to expound on some of those points that were brought up on Tuesday, as well as last strong shows about self-hatred. So one of the things I wanted to discuss as we were leaving on Tuesday, Sister Tasha brought up the fact that she was going to support it, but she brought up the issue of him being married to someone of another race and how that kind of made her, feel a certain way. She felt like it was kind of a punch in the gut to see yet another successful Black man with someone of another race. And a lot of people kind of, there was a movement, I don't know if a movement or I guess you could say a little tiff, I don't know what you want to call it, but a lot of Black women kind of got together and started like this little campaign or something against the movie because of, some rape allegations that were brought against him when he was much younger that were dropped. He was not brought up, nothing stuck. And the fact that he was, married to this white woman. I don't call her white because I think she's Hispanic, but she may be of the lighter hue, Hispanic, like Portuguese or something. I don't know. But I think that had more to do with it than anything because like someone said on Tuesday shows, if this man really raped somebody, like he would be in prison today. It doesn't take much for government or, the city, the state, whatever, as soon as they find the smallest speck of dust on a Black man, they're going to make it stick, and send them off. It's so profitable. So the fact that he wasn't convicted and wasn't charged or whatever, that was huge. So I feel like there was something a little bit deeper kind of stirring this campaign against this man and against this movie he was trying to put out. And I think it had a lot to do with him being married to someone of another race, and just the fact that you got certain people in this industry that really did not want that movie to get out. Because if you go and watch the movie, this is not a white savior movie. And I don't think that there are too many points in there that would redeem that would, like some of our slave movies still have a little tinge of white savior in it, or don't offend white people too much. It's still a little bit of that in there. I don't think this movie had that in there at all. It was very well done. So I think, those forces that kind of didn't want the movie to be seen got black women together, like they usually do with us, and kind of waged this little movement against him and against this movie. And you notice they always get to us. And I'm saying us because I am a black woman, but those people always seem to be able to get us to do something against our black men. It's so easy. If they can't get to black men, they can always count on us to make sure that we put the nail in the coffin, so to speak. So they started this little campaign, and I think Gabrielle Union was one of the ones that had something to say about it, because she brings up this thing, well, she was a victim of rape, but she was also an actress in the movie that got paid. And one of the things that I was really glad to see, because I saw her part in the movie, which was she didn't have like...
Fashion emergency hotline.
Help, I'm in a haunted house.
Oh, I love Halloween.
No, it's my closet. My fall clothing is frightening.
Oh, that is scary. Go to Old Navy.
Old Navy?
Yeah, save up to 50% off store-wide at Old Navy's big fall sale. It's the sale of the season.
50% off? Now you're talking.
With cute, cozy sweaters, flattering dresses, and stylish jeans, the only thing that will scare you will be your savings. Plus, right now, clearance is up to 75% off.
Oh, thank you.
Don't thank me. Thank Old Navy. Valid 10/17 to 10/22. Select styles only.
Anu Nation is home to the Anu spiritual order founded by Chief Jegna Haru Yuya Asan Anu. Some of the components of Anu Nation are Anu Life Global Ministries, Enlightenment and Transformation, Sadulu House, and Osiris Life Spiritual Services. SaduluHouse.com is the school component of Anu Nation, where spiritual empowerment through education and training is emphasized. One way that is accomplished is through our monthly webinars. Our webinars are packed with foundational information, rituals, and live instruction to empower your spiritual work. At SaduluHouse.com, you can view our diverse list of topics for this year that range from meditation to sex magic. And you can also register for any of the webinars at your convenience, sign up for our introductory Orisha class, schedule a spiritual reading, and sign up for the Anu Spiritual Training course. Enlightenment and Transformation is the media component of Anu Nation. Here, you can view all of our archived shows from over the years to our current segments. They include Chief Speaks, Masterminds Monday, Anu Asafo, Thunderground Thursdays, and Foundational Fridays. You can also visit us on our YouTube channels. They are Enlightenment and Transformation, Orisha Yoruba, and Anu Nation. Osiris Life Spiritual Services is for those who are ready to take the necessary actions to bring your life into holistic balance. Here we offer consistent monthly one-on-one coaching, solutions that are tailored just for you, practical hands-on self-development techniques that will accompany your monthly readings, and customized practical strategies designed for you that guarantee positive results. Simply choose the package that best fits your needs. And last but not least, AlphaOmegaStore.com. The Alpha Omega Store is our online botanica where we offer divination tools, herbs and incense, DVDs, books, and other hard-to-find ritual items. You can also get our best-selling foundational book, Grasping the Root of Divine Power. Other great works from Anu Nation are Shrine and Altar, Solutions for Dysfunctional Family Relationships, and Natural Hair for Young Women. All great books to assist you on your journey. To find out more on how to get involved with Anu Nation, visit our websites and YouTube channels and be sure to sign up for our monthly newsletter. Greetings, peace, everybody. Peace, peace, peace. I see I had a few technical issues here on Blog Talk. Let's see. I think you can hear me now. So I'm going to pick up where I left off. I was just really talking a minute ago, and I didn't even realize that I could not be heard. So let me check really quick. If you're listening, if you could just send me a quick little message to let me know if I can be heard. I'm going to check really quick. I'm going to go to a quick commercial and I'll be right back. Some of us live in an awfully unhygienic environment. There's spiritual sludge and biological grime that abounds everywhere. The need for regular detoxing and cleansing is a direct result of a compromised environment. Peace, everyone. I'm Kim, facilitator of the class-based webinars on seduluhouse.com, and I'm encouraging you to take our class on spiritual cleansing. In this course, we'll discuss ways to cleanse your aura, learn which plants and herbs are good for cleansing. We'll learn how to cleanse objects for ritual use, and we'll learn how to infuse water with the proper cleansing ingredients. So if you're interested in learning how to keep your aura clean, go to seduluhouse.com/products/spiritual-cleansing. Okay, we're back. So now I can be heard. I was just checking. I just realized, I apologize, everybody, that I was having some issues here. I got some wires crossed. But again, welcome back to another segment of Community Radio. I'm your host, Kim. And today we are going to continue the conversation about Birth of a Nation. And I finally got to see it. Yay! I got to see it last night. I was so excited to go and see this. And it was so interesting. I was the only person in the movie theater. So I had the whole theater to myself. And I was just thinking, like, did the movie just open or is it on its way out? Like, I was so shocked that there was no one, not a single person in the theater. And I think it just opened. I don't think it's been out very long. So that's kind of interesting. You know, it's usually as soon as a black movie comes out, like, you know, we don't see ourselves so much on the screens. As soon as it comes out, we're going to go and, you know, rush to support it. So I thought it was interesting that there was no one there. But anyway, I wanted to continue the conversation we were having on Tuesday, as well as some of those conversations that we had last strong about self-hatred. And it's very interesting that all of these topics kind of tie in together, you know. On the self-hatred shows that we were talking about, we're just saying that, you know, it goes so much deeper than just bleaching our skin and straightening our hair. So there's a lot of different components to how we display that we really don't like each other very much. And so, again, some of those things that we brought up kind of tied into this movie and some things that were brought up about the movie. So today we're going to just kind of finish up those conversations those things that we didn't get to talk about on Tuesday because, one, I had not seen the movie, but like I said, now I've finally seen it, so I'm really excited to talk about it. And we're going to expound on some of those points that were brought up on Tuesday, as well as last strong shows about self-hatred. So one of the things I wanted to discuss as we were leaving on Tuesday, Sister Tasha brought up the fact that she was going to support it, but she brought up the issue of him being married to someone of another race and how that kind of made her, you know, feel a certain way. She felt like it was kind of a punch in the gut to see yet another successful black man with someone of another race. And a lot of people kind of, you know, there was a movement. I don't know if a movement or I guess you could say a little tiff. I don't know what you want to call it. But a lot of black women kind of got together and started like this little campaign or something against the movie because of, some rape allegations that were brought against him when he was much younger that were dropped. He was not brought up, nothing stuck. And the fact that he was, married to this white woman. I don't call her white because I think she's Hispanic, but she may be of the lighter hue, Hispanic, like Portuguese or something. I don't know. But I think that had more to do with it than anything, because like someone said on Tuesday shows, if this man really raped somebody, like, he would be in prison today. It doesn't take much for government or, different, the city, the state, whatever, as soon as they find the smallest speck of dust on a black man, they're going to make it stick, and send him off. It's so profitable. So the fact that he wasn't convicted, and, wasn't charged or whatever, that was huge. So I feel like there was something a little bit deeper kind of stirring this campaign against this man and against this movie he was trying to put out. And I think it had a lot to do with him being married to someone of another race, and just the fact that, you got certain people in this industry that really did not want that movie to get out. Because if you go and watch the movie, this is not a white savior movie. And I don't think that there are too many points in there that would redeem that would, like some of our slave movies still have a little tinge of white savior in it, or don't offend white people too much. It's still a little bit of that in there. I don't think this movie had that in there at all. It was very well done. So I think, those forces that kind of didn't want the movie to be seen got black women together, like they usually do with us, and kind of waged this little movement against him and against this movie. And you notice they always get to us. And I'm saying us because I am a black woman, but those people always seem to be able to get us to do something against our black men. It's so easy. If they can't get to black men, they can always count on us to make sure that we put the nail in the coffin, so to speak. So they started this little campaign, and I think Gabrielle Union was one of the ones that had something to say about it, because she brings up this thing, well, she was a victim of rape, but she was also an actress in the movie that got paid. And one of the things that I was really glad to see, because I saw her part in the movie, which was she didn't have like a leading role or anything. And I really I really appreciate that, actually. I'm glad she did not get the leading role in this movie. I'm glad that it went to somebody else. But her part was not that huge in the movie. It was significant, but not huge. She was one of the ones that was saying something about it. And I thought that was interesting. Like I said, they always get black women to find something to pick at about a black man if they can't demolish him completely. So anyway, on Tuesday, we left off, I think, again, Sister Tasha was saying that it's always kind of like a punch in the gut when she sees a successful black man with a woman of another race. And we talked about that a little bit. And some of that, she was saying she was still going to go and support the movie, but that kind of left a little bit of a bad taste in her mouth still. And so I was talking about this with a family member, and they cleared something up for me, because, on Tuesday I was saying, we support movies that are a lot more damaging to us as a people. And we can come up with a lot of excuses as to why we shouldn't go and see the movie. Like, we have to scrutinize this man, scrutinize his life. What is it? We have to figure out all these things about him just to try to find an excuse not to go and see the movie. But we'll support things like Medea, Scarface, Goodfellas, all these other movies that put us in a horrible light, and without any questions asked. And some of these people that have made these movies are known racists, without any problem. But when it comes to our movies, we can find all these excuses. If it's a movie that's powerful enough to make us, think about our condition. And so when we were talking about it, one of my family member, he brought up the fact that, Tasha also said that she did go to see Straight Outta Compton. And so Straight Outta Compton, as you know, was about NWA and everything. I didn't see the movie. I wasn't really that interested in it. But she said she did go and see that movie because it made her feel, she nostalgic. It took her back to a certain time and everything. And I thought it was interesting because we're talking about Birth of a Nation and this man being married to someone of a different race. Well, Dr. Dre and Ice Cube are both married to women of another race. So why did we not scrutinize Straight Outta Compton? Why did this not come up, when she was saying that it kind of made her feel kind of a certain way? Well, Ice Cube is married to someone, I think she's like Hispanic and black or something like that, or Dominican or something. But Dr. Dre is married to a straight up white woman. There's no question about it, no debating it or anything. So what is it about Birth of a Nation that makes you feel that's kind of a punch in the gut, or makes you kind of want to question whether or not you should see the movie, versus something like Straight Outta Compton, where we didn't even question Dr. Dre, and Dr. Dre has done absolutely nothing for black people or the black community. All the music is degrading to women. There's nothing positive said out of Dr. Dre's mouth about black women ever at all. But this is something that we can support without any thought. We're not digging into anybody's background about it. So I kind of wanted to bring that up if Sister Tasha's listening. This was brought to my attention because I didn't even think about it. Like I said, I didn't research that movie because I just honestly was not interested in it at all. So, but that was brought up. So I thought that was interesting. And that kind of brings me to that point that I was saying about how we let certain things kind of get to us for deeper reasons. And I think this little tirade, or this little thing that, black women are doing against Nate Parker because he's married to this woman, or because of these so-called rape allegations, which again, I don't think that's the real reason. I think it has more to do with the interracial thing, and this man is successful and blah, blah, blah. And I think certain people in Hollywood were using them to keep the movie from being made and to keep the movie from being supported. I don't know how much money the film brought in, but I do know it is a quality movie that everybody should go see. There was so much in that movie, so much, and we're going to get into it on the call today. There's so many topics. After I went home, it took me a while to process it because there's so many things in that movie that we can talk about today. Because as I was watching the movie, one of the things I was doing is each scene or each point in the movie that caught my attention, I was kind of drawing parallels to what that looks like today, and trying, and seeing how it's so relevant today. I'm going to go to a quick call, 443. Greetings, Young Community Radio.
Greetings, Sister Kim.
Greetings.
Tasha. You know I'm listening, girl.
Good, because I was like, I said, I hope she calls today, because I did not know this, about the whole Straight Outta Compton thing. And I said to myself, I was like, what? I was like,
yeah.
And I thought about it. I said, okay, we need to bring this point up.
Well, look, I'm gonna tell you like this. there are many moods of Tasha. Okay. So, yes, I went to go see Straight Outta Compton. I did enjoy it. Like I said in the last show, it was nostalgic. You know, I grew up, you know, in my teenage years in the, you know, late 80s and 90s. So all of that spoke to me. I also know the history behind particularly Dr. Dre, because he is all over the place. That man he is something else. From his marriage to his past relationships and, you know, all of that. And I agree, like, it's totally unfair, and it's a double standard. Like, I didn't even think twice about going to see that movie. You know, oh, Straight Outta Compton, NWA, oh, hell yeah, I'm on that. You know, maybe it's the climate now of what's going on, and Straight Outta Compton is not that old. I think it came out last year or something like that, but maybe it is the climate and everything that's going on with us as, you know, Black African people.
What do you mean?
It's just making me, like, just from the violence, the police violence, the, you know, your regular day-to-day white supremacy bull, you know, and the inner turmoil that we have with ourselves. All of that jumbled up into one, I guess, is making me look at everything, like, extra critical.
But you know what? Those things were going on last year, too.
Right, exactly. But I think from between last year and just now, like in another show we had a couple strongs ago, how I was saying, like, I'm constantly evolving. That's my goal, to constantly just keep getting enlightened more and more and more. And I think that I have just since Straight Outta Compton, you know, because now I'm looking back. And the show from the other day made me look at it too. Like, everything that you just said before I called, it was like, dang, yeah, that is kind of, you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't in that frame of mind just last year. You know what I mean? Yeah. So now I'm here. And here's this movie, Birth of a Nation, which I still haven't seen. I think we're going to go see it tomorrow, because we're going to do, like, dinner and movie type thing. So, yeah, I mean, I think I'm just I'm in a different mind state than what I was when I went to go see Straight Outta Compton. I'm not going to change my view on how I feel about Nate Parker. I mean, I think he's a brilliant brother. It would have been better if he was with a brown girl, but hey, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, that's his life. And really, after, because I went back and I listened to Tuesday's show, and it made me think, you know, I have to separate this man's personal life from his artwork. And especially all of the effort that he put into getting this movie out. Like, does any of us have that kind of drive and that type of ambition to put something out that you don't even know if you're going to get your money back on? You know, you could have lost your house over it or whatever, your career. You know, do we have that much, you know, get up and go? Most of us probably don't. You know, so for that, I gotta applaud this dude. And I'm gonna do that by spending my money and going to go see this movie. But so yeah, I agree. I mean,
let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. What is it that hurts so bad when you see a black man with someone of another race? What is it that you feel?
I think it just makes me feel discounted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all the things. The other show we had about just how we are perceived as Black women in society.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're oversexed and, you know, exotic and, you know, all these things. We just can't be good women.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or I'm pretty for a Black girl, or, you know, all those things. So when I see a successful, handsome Black man who is, you know, for all intensive purposes, woke, you
Mm-hmm.
know, with someone of another race, it's like, well, what about me? Not me
Mm-hmm.
personally, but, you know, what about women of color? What is it
Mm-hmm.
about us that just wasn't good enough? But when you brought up the point of, you know, well, maybe he had, you know, Black women, girlfriends or what have you in the past, and they weren't supportive enough.
Mm-hmm.
That also hurts, because now I'm forced to look at myself. I'm forced to look at my sisters and say, damn, we dropped the ball.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a good chunk of us dropped the ball. And even the ones who aren't that way, that are supportive of our men, maybe we didn't take the time enough to school these other women.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I'm telling you, my husband he's made some pretty ballsy moves in the almost 21 years of our marriage. And a lot of times I had to grind my teeth like, oh, God, I don't know if this is going to work. But, you know, I just got to sit back and, you know, let him do what he's going to do, because that's my role. I got to do that. Because if I don't, then I'm going to forever be in control. And there's going to come a time where I'm not going to want to do that anymore. And then he's going to be looking at me like, well, you had it all this time. Don't complain now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I had to set that standard early. Okay, this is what you do. This is what I do. It was rocky. It was rough. I had to hold my tongue a lot of times. And sometimes I didn't, you know. But maybe I should have taken the time to, you know, share that with my nieces or my friends' daughters or whatever. Hey, you know, this is maybe you should try communicating with your boyfriend or your husband this way. Can I say that I did that to my full potential? No, honestly not. If they came to me for advice, yes, but I wasn't outwardly looking to reach out and spread that knowledge. So all of that hurts when I see that. It's both, you know, I'm looking at the man like, dang, why couldn't you choose us? But at the same time, it's like, I kind of see why he didn't.
You know, that whole topic, and I've really been thinking a lot about this lately, just dealing with, you know, just talking to women more and really trying to get to the root of some of our problems. And again, you know, they got the Black men going their own way movement, and there are tons of videos on YouTube of Black men who are just fed up with us. And at some point, you know, and then as a counter move, you know, then Black women started a Black women going their own way movement. But at some point, we have to look at at what has gone on and what continues to go on. Because, like I said, this little tirade or little movement that Hollywood or whomever co-opted to get Black women together to rail against this man in this movie is a prime example of how we're so easily manipulated into dogging Black men whenever they do something, you know. To go back to the Straight Outta Compton thing, I watched I think it was Michelle's whole little Lifetime movie about her role in Def Jam. That was just a hot mess. And upon more research, more research with that, I found out that there was a lot of evidence and a lot of things stacked against her as being the reason for the downfall of death row. And that, all of this came out around the time of Straight Outta Compton. So again, and her movie has so many so many wrong things in it that no one talked about. Like, she was raised in a home with her father, but in the movie you only see her living with her mother and her grandmother. So there's this overtone of single black women trying to be strong, and the whole time, of course, she made herself out to look like this just hopeless little victim that black man, he just pounded on her for no reason, and, this, that, the other. Anyway, but again, another great example of that. And it just makes me think at some point, for us to get so emotional and so hurt every single time we see a black man with someone of another race, at what point are we going to stop and say, okay, enough is enough? I need to upgrade. I need to do whatever it is I need to do to stop this from happening, because this ain't cool. So, sisters, let's get together. What do we need to change about ourselves? This is what they're saying. This is what they're experiencing. And yeah, you know what? We had about a good 30, 40 years of brainwashing telling us that we don't need black men and that we're the prize, and that, there's nothing wrong with you. It's something wrong with him. He's a no good such and such. He don't have good credit. He don't deserve you. He has no education. He's been to jail. He's got all these babies. All this stuff. Shahrazad Ali broke this down to perfection back in the early, what was that, late 80s, early 90s or something, when her book came out. And she was hung almost for saying the things that she did. But even today, that book is so relevant. I think she's actually re-released the book. So
Black Matters?
No. The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman.
Ah, okay.
And so that book is so relevant even to today, and like I said, she has been she's been revived, so to speak, behind the points that she made in this book that black women got so offended by back then that now we're looking at her, you know what? She was right, because it's only gotten worse. And so at some point we got to look at this like, okay, instead of me just getting emotional and lashing out, what are some things that I can do to get black men to come back? Because maybe we are screwed up. Maybe all those things they said about it is true. Because, we love to say that we're the backbone of society. And I'm getting this from Shahrazad Ali. And she said that, we always say that. But like she said, there's no other race of people on the planet that their women will stand up and say they're the backbone of society. Because it's a slap in the face to other black men. Like, you don't stand up. I'm the backbone.
Right.
Nobody else says that but us. But we've been programmed to say those things. You know what I mean? That's been put in our heads. And so it's just, at some point, like, we got to go to boot camp and say, okay, we need to clean up. We need to get ourselves together, and this is what we're going to do. Because if I see another black man with another white woman, like, enough is enough. Let's get our, you know what, together and get this right. At some point, we got to really take it seriously and start training. Like, like I said when I was talking to someone, like Kill Bill, the woman in Kill Bill, she had a mission. So it was like, okay, let me go into training. I got to train. Yeah. We got to look at it like that. Like, at some point, we got to look at, okay, you know what? Let's train, because enough is enough. I'm sick of seeing it. But instead, we just kind of fall back and still kind of point the finger like it's the black man's fault. Yeah. I'm cute. What else do you want? I look good.
Right.
Nobody on the planet looks like me, and and don't do anything about it. I'm going to bring in another caller real quick. This is 864. Greetings, you're on Community Radio.
Yeah, hey, this is Pedro again.
Hey, Pedro, how are you?
Peace.
I'm doing all right, man. Listening to this nice conversation again. I think as far as like, the race thing, of course the condition, and then, the standard that most people set for themselves, it kind of make it hard to consider just race nowadays because, of course, the money situation, and then just feeling protected, period, So I think even with not considering, okay, what about the non-attractive black dude? The one that everybody, is not going to pay no attention to, they get no attention at all or not talked about, we just talking about just a nice-looking black guy, but what about the one that's not attracted that can do exactly the same things that, the one who is attracted or whatever,
Well, you know what? Let me say something about that, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm going to say this. First of all, just as black people, we look good. There's no other race of people on the planet that look as good as we do. It's hard to find an ugly black man. I'm going to be honest, because, even when black men are, like, out of shape, overweight, whatever it is, there is still something about him. Like, you'll see, you can see these men, it's still something about them. Their attitude or confidence or swagger, whatever the case may be, that still has an attractive quality. And the same thing goes for women. Of course, now we're like disfiguring ourselves and doing all kinds of crazy stuff to us that's making us ugly. But before that, like, you don't find too many just ugly black people. You know what I mean?
True.
So I don't know about that.
I don't know about the dude.
Yeah. Well, this is a woman telling you. I don't know too many ugly black dudes.
Yeah,
honestly.
no, I mean, me either. I mean, look at Biggie.
Biggie, Faison Love. Rick,
yeah,
it's not too many ugly black men. Like, it's still something there. That
and Michael Black.
Who's Michael Black?
Yeah, the comedian.
Michael Blackson, the comedian.
Oh, the African
from
guy?
Africa.
Okay. I mean, still, look, if we take a bath and wash our face and keep our hygiene up, you're just still not going to find too many ugly black people. You're just not.
True.
I'm sorry. Wipe the crust out of your eyes, put on some shea butter. Like, it's not. There just aren't too many, I'm sorry, it's not too many ugly black men out there.
But
I don't know too many.
What about, like, okay, so you said us as black women, we need to go to boot camp, we need to school each other, hold each other accountable, and things like that. Yes, I 120% agree with you. My question is, what do we do with the ones that don't want to comply? Because there's going to be kickback, as there has been. Hence the reason why we're in the mess we're in now. Do we Harriet? I was gonna say, do we Harriet Tubman them and be like, all right, then,
just forget about them, move on, because guess what? A black man's not gonna want her anyway. They already don't want 95% of us. So, or whatever, whatever. I might be overstepping that, exaggerating that number, but screw her. Nobody's going to pick her up anyway.
Yeah. No one of substance.
Oh,
anyway.
no,
Right.
though. You guys, I mean,
nowadays.
The men that will, those not the ones you want anyway.
Right. Right. That's what I said. At least
So
it's
a self-filtering. Right. It's a self-filtering process.
Yeah.
Less work for you. Less work, less headache for you.
Well, I think that's why I think you and Chief and Sister Taya and everybody else on your staff is doing a great job, because we need this form. We need our women's call on Mondays. We need more retreats, more meet and greets, and, just that fellowship, to really get together, to get to know each other. And then once we feel comfortable with each other, then we can bring more like-minded people in, and then this whole thing will spread.
But you know what? It's not even about bringing in like-minded people. We got to go and get them. One of the things that Chief said is that, like, even when he speaks to men, like, if you don't have a family, go get one. Like, we got too many kids that don't have parents, that aren't looked after, that don't have a man in their life. If you are over 30 years old or something like that, and you have, you're somewhat successful, or even if you're not, like, it's something you can offer to the little kid up the street that just keeps walking the street day and night, not doing anything. Like, scoop them up. It's not all the time all about, well, let's get together, get our stuff straight, and then, let the people come to us. No, we got to go get them. Go get them. Help them out. And if they buck back, cut them loose. I mean, we just got to, I think we just have to be more proactive, because it's so easy to just sit back and say, if I see another black man with another successful black man with a black woman, we got to do more than that. Another video I watched was about the guy, I don't know his name, but the guy that started FUBU, he's on Shark Tank, black guy.
Damian John.
He's a millionaire. He married a white woman. And so I didn't know, but there was there's a whole to do about this, but she herself is a millionaire. They do similar work, and he married her. And so there's a huge thing about that. But I even when I see that, I'm like, you know what? Black women, especially just common people on the outside looking in, we don't know what it takes to be in that woman's position. Like, can you not? His whole fortune even started, like, his mother gave him the money to support his idea, and family members or whatever, and it took off from there. We don't, again, like we were saying on Tuesday, we don't know what it means to help, to be supportive, and to help someone stick it out to get to that point. Then once you get to that point, do you even know how to behave or to maneuver around in those circles of people? Because it's a whole nother culture. You can't go to a $50,000 plate dinner for a fundraiser with your mouth popping off, or somebody say something that you sideways, or you don't understand the conversation, or you don't understand the language of that culture, or you're a complete embarrassment. You know what I'm saying? All that black women see is this woman is getting something I should have. She's taking food out of my mouth.
But we haven't worked to get that status.
Right. Like I said, we haven't gone through the boot camp. If that's what you want, train to go get it. If you want a man of that stature, join the right clubs, have the right, study that culture. It's the same thing we talk about in African spirituality when we talk about Odus. And Chief has said a number of times, an Odu is a world unto itself. It's a whole world. And so it can take a lifetime just to learn one Odu. It's a world unto itself. It's the same thing with wealth or anything else. If I want to become a lawyer, it's not enough for me to just go to school and get the degrees and take the bar and pass. I got to figure out where do lawyers, what kind of hours do they work? Where do they hang out? What type of societies or clubs do these people belong to? What are the circles they move in? What What's the lingo? What's the talk? Where do they hang out? What are their families like? Who do I need to hobnob with to stay on top? It's a whole world, a whole nother culture that the average person on the street is not privy to. You have no clue about it. So it's like you have to look at it like that. If you want a millionaire, I think that was like an old 60s movie about that, but it was starring, I think it was Marilyn Monroe or somebody. But anyway, it was like how to catch a millionaire, something like that. I can't remember it off the top of my head. But it's like you have to put yourself in a position to be there. Now think about it. Who is in Nate Parker's circle? Because if we look at his situation, who is in his circle? Black woman, black actress, whatever, that can help open doors for him, not tear him down, be supportive. Because like he said, he's not a millionaire, he's a thousandaire, he said.
Right.
And he was struggling. So he is that dude in high school that ain't really got it all together yet. He's not the star of the football, basketball team. He's trying to get there. You know, he's drinking milk and slowly trying to build himself up.
Right.
He's a small fish in a big pond in Hollywood, where most black women that are in that circle already have either surpassed him and probably think they're too good for him because he's low on the totem pole, and they're looking for somebody to boost their career. So what are his choices? You know, so it's so much that we don't look at when we see this. And he has a child from a previous relationship, and I think she's black. So I'm not sure. I have to look at it. But again, he may have dated 100 black women before her. He may have tried to date some black women in Hollywood, but they're like, you know, you don't have this, that, the other, because that Hollywood world is cutthroat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people are all about status, appearances, and money. And like I said, he was a budding star. He hasn't broke the mold yet. He hasn't broken through his position yet. So he's that guy.
Going to find a black.
Exactly.
That's open-minded.
Exactly. That's my whole point. I'm going to bring in another caller, 804. Greetings, you're on Community Radio.
Greetings, peace. How's everybody doing?
We're well. How are you?
Good, not too bad. I just wanted to jump in. I was listening to the first part of the conversation on Tuesday, and then this part is even more juicy, I guess, today. But what I was thinking about after we spoke on Tuesday was, in music and in science, there's a concept called sympathetic resonance or sympathetic vibration. And the concept deals with, like if you had a tuning fork, or like when back in the day when you were little, and you'd see a lady who could sing so well she could crack a window or a glass, a wine glass. Well, it seems like what you guys are kind of talking about deals with that concept in terms of a lot of times we see sympathetic resonance or vibration with our skin color. Whereas in this society, a lot of times it's dealing with things that we don't see, like, your level of education or your religion or your spiritual pursuits, or it might deal with your location even and where you live and things of that nature. So I think sometimes we're discounting those other components and kind of, looking to forcing ourselves to look at or make it a racial thing. But like you said, if you're not in those circles and you don't know how to move in those circles, it's impossible to meet those men.
Right.
I remember looking at I think somebody there these like I don't know how I found out about this or heard about it, but apparently for women who are interested in basketball players or football players, there's a whole network of women.
Right.
And they kind of throw that name out there and, this person is at Panera Bread today. or they're probably not thoroughbred, but he's probably going to be just pulled in. Exactly, and they show up. I guess I don't know if they're driving around looking good or what, but they show up somehow and bump into these individuals.
Yeah.
And that in and of itself, just that network itself is a form of, they know what these men are looking for in terms of, I guess, aesthetic beauty, and they know how to find them. They know how to position themselves in order to get in front of these men.
Yeah, the movie Just Right was like that. You had two cousins, but where one of the cousins, she was that girl. Like, she knew what to say. She knew how to position herself. She knew when to show up, what section was for the girlfriends, what section's for the wives. You know what I mean? So, exactly. Yeah.
And back to the idea I think you put out there, or I think it's Tasha. I think she may have put it out there. Somebody put it out there in terms of creating a boot camp. So what a boot camp does is many things, if you think about it. It gives black women control over how they're perceived. It also gives black women control over what their sons perceive, or how their sons perceive them in terms of, maybe this is what's valuable in a woman. It then becomes a part of the conversation. It becomes a part of the learning and the teaching of not only the children, but also society. So I think it's a very powerful idea if that were to happen, or people were to do that. And I do know that in certain societies in Africa, they have people, they have, and not only just in Africa, but a lot of places, they have what they call fattening farms and things of that nature. And it's totally different, where they learn about, not only do they try and make the woman more attractive, but they also teach her about, household life, maybe. I remember when I used to be in Senegal, West Africa, and they have a term for a woman. This is like the top of the best woman, the most desirable woman. It's called trianke, and it's it's almost like it's a cultural, I don't know what it is. It's like a cultural picture. Not everybody can be this, but this is kind of like the goal in terms of all of the components that would attract the eye of a man.
Just
and
cultural
I think in this
standard.
society, exactly, it's the cultural standard. So
these
definitely a good idea.
Yeah, we're talking about just cultural, just rites of passage. That's what we've missed as American black women in this country. We don't have a culture, and we don't have any type of rites of passage. The Nation of Islam has a boot camp, so to speak, for women. I think it's MGT, if I'm not mistaken. If there are any people on that used to be in the Nation or are in the Nation, correct me if I'm wrong. But this is where the women go in, and there is a curriculum and programs and things in place about how to teach women to dress, how to teach them to cook, how to teach them to eat, how to teach them to talk, how to teach them to gesture, what to do in the house, what not to do when you're outside, how you should dress your children, how you should speak to your children. Hygiene, hair, whatever it is about being a woman is completely covered. And these women have to go through this training. So it's not something that's impossible to do, and that's what we're talking about. But it's like, at some point, we got to get out of our feelings and say, okay, you know what? I got to do something to change it, because I don't want to be one of those women left out or, sitting on the sidelines. I need a black man.
I think one more thing before I go to it. Black men need that boot camp too. So
I was gonna say that.
That's true, and you've heard Chief say that. You've heard Chief say that too. He was like, I remember in one show he was saying he wanted to be able to choose from the best. So there were certain things that he started to do. He learned how to, fix cars, build this, do that, learn how to, just a list of things that he went through to put him in a certain position to be able to choose or to, to attract what he wanted. So it's the same thing. But it's like we have to first figure out, what do we want? Because like you said, everybody can't be on top. Everybody's not fit for that position. So figure out what you want and go and get it. I think too, like as Black women, we've just kind of become a bit lazy, because that movement back in the 80s or whatever that told us that, we were all that, we don't need a man, the man ought to do this for us, and blah, 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 has made us lazy in that we don't feel like we got to do anything to get a man. Other than except look good, put tight clothes on, whatever, and walk out the house. Like, we don't feel like we should have to work at a relationship. We just don't. And
a lot of black women don't even clean or nothing no more.
Yeah. So we don't feel like we got to do anything. We feel like, you lucky to be with me, even despite all of the crap that I have, all of my baggage, and we do have baggage. But, just going back to the movie, that's one of the things I wanted to bring up and just to kind of clear up about the movie. But I do want to go into some points, into some other points in the movie. But I wanted to bring that up because once I saw, I was like, here we go again, getting another group of Black women together to pull down a brother. It's always after they become successful, we want to pull all the little tricks out of the bag and, he used to do this, he used to do that. We got to bring out all this dirt, because ultimately what we're upset about is that we didn't stick it out. And now we feel like, now I don't have the money I should have. He ought to give me some of that money. Even though you were the one tearing them down and not being supportive the entire time, which is probably why he left. So again, going back to resources, you just feel like you should have something that you don't necessarily deserve. So that's one point I wanted to bring up about the movie. But I did get to see it last night, and I thought it was really, really good. If you've seen it, make sure you press the number 1 if you have any comments about what we're talking about now or any other points in the movie. There were so many things that came to mind as I was watching that movie. I tell you, it brought up so many questions. I'm going to bring in another caller real quick. This is 347. Greetings.
Peace, Sister Kim. How you doing? How's everybody?
How are you? We're good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I wanted to join this call. I wanted to share my life experience.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm not Black, and my husband, my family are not, and I don't know that experience, but I can say that me and my husband have lived a similar experience where Richie, before he met me, he was dating a lot of Colombian women. Mm-hmm. And in the Colombian culture, they promote to stay in your culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
But after a while, he got tired of the nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
So after a while, he decided to just branch out into other culture, into other Latin cultures.
Mm-hmm.
And as for myself, I grew up hating Spanish men. Mm-hmm. I thought they were the worst thing on the planet.
Wow.
And it's also because of the own women in my own family have promoted that
okay.
I'm Dominican and Costa Rican, but my Dominican mother was always like, Dominican men are the worst, they're trash, they're this, don't date Puerto Ricans, don't date Dominicans, don't date Black people, don't. Like a whole bunch of don'ts, because she had her own prejudices, right? So I dated a lot of white guys before I met Richie. And I felt like something was off.
Mm-hmm.
Even the last I was with for 6 years, and even that was like a shame to even call a relationship. And then I finally met Richie. But I didn't know what I was doing. When I met him, I was definitely not in the state of mind that I am right now. That was about 4 years ago. But I can tell you one thing. The one thing that called out to me about Richie was his brains, his smarts, the way he thought. Like, he wasn't educated like myself. He's a very technical guy. He wasn't graduating from high school. Honestly, when I met him, he was living on his mama's couch. He didn't have anything. But I saw potential in him. I'm like, this guy is so smart. He could do things. I know. I believe in him. And when we got married, he was still working in a company, giving him chump change for what he does and his smarts. And I kept pushing him. I was like, look, you can do this. You can go out on your own. You can, he had side jobs here and there where he would get $200 on a side job, and his paycheck where he worked 50, 60 hours a week, he was getting $900. So that makes no sense. So he was very scared, and I know that he branched out because I was supporting him. Because I never gave him like, oh, we're not going to pay the bills. You know how many times we've borrowed money left and right from so many people, but we've literally, on a Sunday, right before paycheck, we had like $2.
Yeah.
And I was never like, you see, this is what I'm talking about? No. I'm like, baby, don't worry. We're going to get it. We're going to get it. This is going to happen. We have food in the fridge. We have a roof. Our babies are good. Don't worry about it. And he's growing. You know, I see him every day. He's getting better, and it's because I was supporting him. So I'm not gonna say here that I'm not that I was looking for a rich man. I wasn't even looking for a man, honestly, but I saw potential in him, and I think that's the difference between someone who's looking for a man to save her and someone who can and looking for someone who you can build something with together.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure if he was here, he would say the same thing. I wasn't rich. I was, I'm not rich or wealthy or whatever. Now we are. Now we have babies. Now we're building an empire together, slowly but surely. But I see that. I see what you guys are talking about. That willingness to just beat and berate your partner for every single mistake. And I think, and Spanish women do that all the time. Dominican women are known for that. They just love to rip into men, and they love talking bad about men to other women. How their man is a no good piece of shit. How their man is this. And it's like, so what does that say about you?
Yeah.
Why are you with a piece of whatever?
Right.
You should know better. And why aren't you helping him not be a piece of whatever?
Yeah.
because it's a teamwork.
Because it's work, and we don't, and women just don't want to put that in. Girl, you talk about the day before payday, and you only got $2. That's us today. I can't wait till tomorrow. Okay.
Wait for that direct deposit to go through.
All right, I'm at the ATM at 11:59. But I mean, that is work to sit down and do the budget and not, rip this man to shreds and not have him rip you to shreds. Because maybe somebody spent a little bit too much last week or whatever. Okay, this is where we are now. We just got to work this out. If it's something going on with the children, I'm not going to, well, you should have, well, why did you? No, this is our child. Okay, we just got to deal with it. And I think as women, we're just, it's just like you said, like, we just want to sit on the throne because, now we're being told the black woman is God and, we're queens and all of this. Where is your crown? How are you positioned? How did you get that position?
Right.
Because you got a job?
Right.
Okay.
That's all it takes? Yeah. I think, too, that women have to it goes back to understanding roles, too, and to know that mishandling money is disrespectful. It's not, let's deal with it after the fact, after it's spent, and I wouldn't spend too much money. Okay, so what? Now let's deal with it. No, what you did was disrespectful because we have to be sensitive to each other's position. Like, as melanated people in this country, we know what each other's struggle is. We know that. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, all that seems to go away because we got some European idea of how we should conduct ourselves as a couple, or how love should be. Well, you don't show me love, like you don't love me because you don't do this for me. Or I should be able to have this because if you really did love me, then blah, blah, blah. You know, we let other people define us just way too much, you know, of how we should be. I'm going to bring in another caller. This is 864. Greetings. You're on Community Radio. 864. 864. Okay, I'm going to put them back on mute. I don't know if they, I don't know. I'll try to bring them back in later. But just getting back to the movie. Because we can talk about this all day, and we can still talk on it. We can still touch on some different points. Let me bring in, who is this? 615. Greetings.
Greetings, everyone.
Peace. How are you?
Can y'all hear me good?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I was this another one of them turning point shows where, you know, you have to really look inside yourself, because like I was listening to y'all talk about the issue about brothers and white women in particular. So I think the brother had said that, you know, when you, because I can speak from a sports perspective, like a lot of this is a status symbol type thing, because like let's say you in the league or whatever, and you walking around with a black girl that you know went to high school with or whatever, she might not have the, you know, that plastic body that everybody, you know, is expecting nowadays. They almost look at you like something wrong with you. Like, man, what's wrong with you? You don't miss a white girl? Like, no, I'm good on that. Man, what's wrong with you? You don't know what you mean? Like, bro, I'm really kind of good. But a lot of that, half of it is a status symbol, and the other half of it is black people have got to stop looking at the worst in each other. Like, we're conditioned, I believe, from a young age to instantly off the bat when we see other black people, is to instantly see the worst in each other. So, like, you get in situations where you dealing with people, and the first thing you think of when you even hear black woman is mouth. Yeah. The first thing you think of when you hear black man, oh, I'm dating a black man. Oh, he must be sorry. You know, he cheating. You know, he bad with money. You know, he don't do this, that. So that's one thing I think that black people have to address, and I think you can do that by what you consider entertainment. Stop watching stuff that portrays black people in a negative light all the time. And like with the sisters, like the biggest issue that I see, you know, with black men and black women is we competing too much. Like you got to make sure you outperform her, because, you know, as a young man, your grandma always tell you, get you a house, get you a job, get you a car, get you a woman, yada yada yada. And then the girls are told, make sure you find somebody that's doing better than you. So when you're dealing with that, if you living within your purpose, my purpose might only take me to maybe 100,000 a year, whereas her purpose take her to 200,000. So off the bat, I'm not even in there. I'm not even in the running, because I don't have that status. Like I think Sister Kim said that he ain't, like Nate Parker ain't in that tax bracket that a lot of them sisters want him to be in for him to be considered eligible. Right. And it's just, you know, the negative stereotypes, the way we stereotype each other, and us just not being patient with one another. Like I think that's like the biggest thing, because you get the way I figured, coming from where I came from, it was always that one black girl who could pull it out of you. Like no matter what you got going on. She is always that one black girl that'll be like, you know what, you do know how to do that. Like, you know what, I never realized that. But in order for her to do that, you have to see the good in her. And I don't think black men do a really good job of that. We get too caught up in independent, bad, yada yada yada. Yeah, she. What else? What does she bring out of you though? What does any of that have to do with your productivity when she's around? Like, what purpose does she serve? Is she there just for when you go to your friends? Oh yeah, my girl, she PhD lawyer, attorney, yada yada. But when y'all go home, she sleep on the couch because she don't want to be bothered with you.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of thing. How productive are you with each other? Hey, Junior.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's what I noticed. You know, and that white girl stuff. A lot of it is just like I think the brother had said it earlier. A lot of when you reach a certain tax bracket as a black man, you got to find a woman who understands money and understands what it takes to have money. So like a lot of times when you're doing something creative like Nate Parker is doing, you run into women who are either fascinated or see how they're the missing link. Whereas a lot of sisters, you know, they grew up struggling. They ain't finna keep struggling. Like, no, man, like I done that. I want somebody who gonna add to what I got going. So you end up messing with white women, or not even white women, just foreign women. Because when I was in school, animal science, you know, white women, foreign women, East Indian, they was fascinated with that. That is so interesting, yada yada yada. You know, whereas the sister was like, why you want to help animals? Why don't you just be a doctor? I don't know, because I'm good at it. You know,
yeah,
it's stuff like that, and I think that all that stems from not having a hobby. Like when you have a hobby, then you can find people who have a similar, you know, light as you. Because if you got a hobby,
which is what we're talking about with Nate Parker. Like that is his profession. That's the world he exists in. So he has to operate a certain way. If I remember a long time ago. When I was working, my coworkers, some of my female coworkers would be like, almost every I guess what they deemed attractive guy that would walk in, Kim, what about him? What about him? You know, you don't talk to anybody. I'm like, first of all, this is where I work. This is not my passion. This is not what I enjoy doing. The things that I'm passionate about, or the things that I really want to do, I'm looking for people in that circle. So, no, I don't pay it. Like you said, it's like whatever your interests are, wherever that passion lies, kind of speaks to where you want to be or the goals you want, and that will probably make a more suitable mate. So even like the case with Nate Parker, like I said, he's in this acting world where people are making millions of dollars for one movie, and this man only got $100,000 in the bank, maybe. So again, he's a scrub in this world. He's the dude driving a little broke down, you know, the little broke down car. You know what I mean? His little car. Everybody else has drivers and this, that, the other. He's still driving himself and probably got a little Toyota or something. Who knows? So nobody's checking for him. You know what I mean? Especially in a world where appearances and status and all this kind of stuff means so much. So again, like I said, I think we just have to look at the world that you are trying to be in. And like Chief was saying in the last show, visualize it. What does it smell like? How do you wake up in the morning? What's going to be your everyday routine? How much does it cost? What are some everyday expenses? Where do I need to live? What kind of car do I need to drive? How do I need to dress? What type of, if I'm single, what type of men are available? Are there available men in that lifestyle? You gotta do your homework and do your research and train up. You gotta train up just like people go to the gym and work out because they're trying to get fit or trying to get to a certain weight goal. You gotta do the same thing with finding this ideal mate that you have in your head. Or you're gonna be that bitter woman on the side looking, another black man with a white girl, blah blah blah. You know, well, what are you doing to get him? Why didn't you get in his sight or in his scope? You know what I mean? So I think that's, again, that's just something we got to take seriously if that's what you want. I want to move on to... Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. No,
real quick. I was just gonna say, well, what do we say to the sister that is maybe a little rough around the edges? You know, she's hood. She might even have a gold tooth or something. I don't know. Mm-hmm. You know, she's on Section 8, or you know, maybe she getting her life together, and she's a good woman. You know, she has no malice in her heart or anything like that, but she's just hood.
Get better.
But she wants and feels like she deserves a good man as well.
Get better.
To be honest,
it's not good enough. It ain't good enough. Get better. I mean, sometimes you gotta just be honest. Lose it. Lose the gold tooth or whatever man. If she's trying to get a dude that looks like her, then that's fine. That lives in the hood with her, that has, you know, the same tendency. That's all completely fine. She is in the right spot. But if she's trying to fish for somebody that's not in the hood with her, that doesn't like women with gold teeth, that doesn't like women that can't speak English or don't know how to control their mouth, she got to train up. She got to lose it.
Hey, to be honest with you, though, and this might sound kind of messed up, but them actually be the most reliable ones, though, because you know what you're getting, and they done suffered so much.
I don't know about that. Nah,
I agree on the man point of view.
I'm gonna keep it real with you, though. It's them types right there that's done suffered so much that when you treat them like something, they are the most appreciative, and you know what you're getting. But you have to have a specific job for her. Like women like that. That's where the men come in and look, this is what I need you to do. I need you to take these forms, fax them. Then I need you to after you fax the forms, get the emails and run this down to the Bureau of Commerce and so on, so on, so on. So yeah, okay, I got you. Yeah, they're reliable, they're predictable, and if you give them a task, they will do it and they will take pride in it because you put an effort into them that no one else has.
Get your hood.
I mean, I'm not telling nobody not to. If that's
what you want, if that's what you want, get her. But I haven't ran into many hood chicks that have surpassed they still in the hood. So if that's your goal, and if you're satisfied with that, and that's where you want to start and finish, no problem.
I mean, I kind of agree with both sides because, and again, I can only speak from experience because I grew up in the hood. I grew up in Jefferson Village Apartments. Anybody from the 804 from Southside Richmond knows that it was rough over there. I grew up over there. You know what I'm saying? So I guess many people would have considered me a hood chick. You know what I'm saying? I think what kind of saved me was that, you know, I grew up in a cultured environment, so to speak. So I had both ends of the spectrum. And later on, I was able to choose where I wanted to be and how I wanted to be perceived in this world.
And you wanted to get
that's why I'm on that path. Yeah, I wanted to get out whereas I could have easily been content in that, you know, and stayed and been comfortable. I wasn't. I got out, and I'm still in the process of evolving. But I do know some women still to this day that are in that position still, and they're not mean or ugly or, like I said, they don't have malice. They do want more, but maybe, I don't know, they're not sure how to go about it, and they weren't as blessed as I was to have a different perspective of life and culture and just status as a female and a woman. They're kind of stuck. They know they want better, but they just don't know how to get that.
I can't go.
You know what I'm saying?
I can't accept that because we are in an age now where if I wanted to know what it looks like, feels like to live in London, wherever it is I want to go, I can get on the internet and find it. If I want to know if I go to a 5-star restaurant, which fork to eat with first, or how silverware is placed on the table, I can Google it. If I want to know what it takes to become a doctor or whatever, I can Google it. If I want to know anything, we're in the information age. I don't even have to leave my house to find out. So I can still develop a plan of how I want to get there, regardless of where I am. I can go down to the public library, get on the internet for free, instead of using the library to just rent movies. Because I don't know about y'all, but here that's what a lot of people do. You go in there, the computers are locked up because everybody's on Facebook or renting movies. I can do the research. Now, in my day coming up, like I said, as a child, I was fascinated with all aspects of culture. So I read books. I read encyclopedias because that's what we had in our house. Our little Encyclopedia Britannicas. I was in them all the time trying to learn about different cultures, what they did, languages, how they dressed, all these different things. It fascinated me. So if you are that woman and you just, this hood chick with a heart of gold, but you want to get out, you can do it. We're not in a...
Well, I guess those are the ones we need to be reaching out to then.
Well, see,
no, you can reach out to anybody. Because like I said, I have to, again, you got to be careful because you still have to get with somebody that wants something. Don't waste your time. If this person does not have a vision to move beyond where they are, if they're content where they are, leave them there. But if I'm a millionaire and you just trying to figure out how to save a couple of $100 a month, like, why am I talking to you? We got completely different goals. I can't go get a job and work somewhere. That's not what I'm trying to do. So you don't come. So I'm not gonna. You coming to me for that? I'm like, I can't even relate. I'm trying to get somewhere else, and I'm developing a plan to do it.
I think that what she's talking about and what you talking about are two different type of people. Like, you talking about them thoughts, like them hood rats, who really don't care nothing about going, who never been outside of Memphis, nothing like that. She talking about the female that's hood and really ain't been exposed to it. So, like, if you ain't been exposed to it, I wasn't exposed to it.
My parents were from the country. I'm from Louisiana. My parents weren't wealthy.
No, I ain't talking about so much as wealthy. Just the mindset. Because, like, I done been around females that I know that I went to school with.
What's a hood mindset then? What are you talking about when you say hood?
Wanting money for everything.
Okay, a hood. Okay, you got. It's two types of mindsets. A hood mindset, and then you got a trashy mindset. Like a hood mindset is you aware of your surroundings. You want to get out, don't know where to start.
That's not a good definition.
I mean, that's how I view it. I can't really speak for how you view it, but
because when y'all say in the hood, like all black, just about 80% of the black people in this country don't have money.
No, it's not just a money thing.
So you're in that position. Oh, go ahead.
What I'm saying, it's not just a money thing. It's really a mindset. Like you know when you around people in certain neighborhoods, they ain't used to nothing. They ain't never been nowhere. They curious because they reach out and they're curious about everything. And a lot of them actually are the ones that end up going to school and getting their masters and PhDs because they know they just don't want to struggle like how their parents did. But the people that you are describing, like these folks out here finna fight. Look at that. Yeah, that's trashy. Yeah, they finna get it right here by the railroad track. But a trashy mindset is a person who don't care, who don't have no goals. They outside of their body and outside of what people give them, they don't have any ambition. Their ambition is to be a power couple as a RN and a dope boy. That's that type of stuff. That small-minded stuff. Whereas it's like,
RN and a dope boy.
but you know, the hood chick that I'm talking about, the ones that I've come in contact with, and the ones I've actually learned the most from, are the most entrepreneur-minded people that I've ever seen. They do hair
I think
taxes,
you need to define them better than that. Then you need to give them a better term than hood chick.
I mean, that's what
because that's not that's.
But they'll tell you that's what they say. She's like, baby, you know I was hood when you met me. Yeah, I shoot dice.
So what does that mean? Because when you say that, I'm not thinking about a person that's a victim of their surroundings and they're going to work hard to get out. I'm going to go to school, get my PhD, go to school, get my master's, and get out. That's not what you think about when you say hood chick.
I mean, it depends on who you're saying it to. Because like Erykah Badu is hood. Erykah Badu is extremely hood. But she wanted more.
I don't think that's what people think about when you say hood chick. It's a song about it, right?
Like...
and that's not what he's describing.
but that, I'm
it's hood something else. But that's not what you don't have any positive images when you think about hood chick. I don't. I think maybe we need to give them a different. I think we need to define it a bit differently. And we're talking about.
I know some that's like that they really like, say for instance, you got some that worry about setting people up, getting people robbed or something like that. Then you got the type that just want to go out and hold for money.
Okay, so let's change the term. Let's not call them hood chicks. Let's just talking about a lowlife. So, you know what I'm saying? You're talking about a low-life type of woman. I'm not trying to associate myself with those women.
Yeah, on that end.
So,
but I know women from the hood that were honor-roll students. They were honor-roll students, went off to college. You know, they might have to pay back some loans or whatever, but, you know, I know some that still stay in the hood, but they got, they from the hood. They're not actually hood chicks. You know, they actually went, got out of the hood, made it to college, but had to come back.
So like family purposes.
Okay, let's kind of tie this up because it's getting us off track. I think when it comes to like we said, choosing a mate, you figure out which world you want to be in, and you do the necessary training to get there. Period. We're not in a position where it's hard to do now. The internet, like I said, has kind of almost leveled the playing field. You can find out about anything. You can fake it till you make it if you have to take that route. But it's too much information out there now for you to have any excuse as to why you can't be in whatever world it is you want to be in. Train it and get it. Train up and get it. Like, black men, for the most part, and I have to say this, have got it a whole lot worse than black women because, like Chief has said, we have so many systems in place to support us to where we can still eat and have a roof over our head despite any bad choices or mistakes that we make in life. Black men, for the most part, they got to start from scratch all the time. Whether you've had, take a little trip upstate or somewhere and you got to start, but they got to figure it out. They can't make the excuse. They don't have the luxury of sitting on Section 8 or getting a check because you got 5 babies, getting that extra tax return, all this other kind of stuff that women have to where black men can sit down. They got to get up and go get it. Period. They got to go get it. They got to figure out whatever it is they got to do to get it, wherever they're trying to go. And like Chief said before, to put himself in a certain position, he knew he had to do A, B, C, and D, and to continue to develop yourself. I think, like, we get to a point where we feel like, okay, I ain't got to do nothing else. I'm good. Mm-hmm. Now, just everything I want just come to me. because I got a good heart. So it should just come to me. I ain't got to do anything about it. So we kind of get to that place. So I think, just like black men have to, like, we got to work for what it is we say we want. And we just really have run out of excuses as to why we can't do it. So it's just time out for it. Like, train. Go figure out what it is you want to do.
I agree. And Sister Kim, I want to say I definitely agree with what you're saying. I think for me, like, I stay playing devil's advocate. I stay trying to include every possible scenario and every which way, a situation can go. I have to look at it from every single angle and every single perspective. And that's why I brought up the subject of, the quote unquote hood chick with the heart of gold. Because I don't want to exclude any of us, because it's so many different types of us.
Yeah. Everybody's not gonna make it. You really gotta just wrap your mind around the fact that everybody can't go. And think about it like this. When you finally put in all of this hard work that you have to put in, and you go through all of this training, and you have really sacrificed things so that you can finally get to where you're going, do you want that hood chick with the heart of gold living next door? It boils down to that. Do you want her babysitting your kids? Do you want her to be an influence in your children's life? Do you feel safe with her staying next door? You know what I mean? Do you feel safe with these people in your community? So it kind of comes down to that as well. I'm not trying to bring the hood with me where I go. I'm not.
True. I mean, it depends on who you bring in, because I guess.
Well, that's for y'all. Bring them with you. I mean, but you want to bring the hood people with you? Bring them with you, but don't move in next door to me.
This is the way I picture it, and this is from my experience. But just from my experience, I done met a lot of the stuff that I learned come from people in the hood, because people in the hood, now, like I said, it's a difference between, I guess the word hood, it can be interchangeable with country. Like, no matter how rich you are, some people are just going to be country. Like Jeff Gordon. This dude is a multi-millionaire a stock car driver. But this person got like 40 acres of land and put a 2-story double wide trailer on it. He's just country. He has a millionaire mindset. He's just country. So some people, that's what they come from. They can't help where they come from. You can still be ambitious. I remember him saying, like, if you're born there and you're not ambitious, then no one has time for that. No one has time for the mental masturbation. No one has time for the excuses and the sob stories, like you said. I'm a firm believer in that. You can really get out here and get it. There's no excuse to not be ambitious. Those are not the type of people I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people who was born in an underprivileged situation that have the ambition to get out and doing it. They just got that stigma attached to them. And yeah, you're going to have to groom the gorilla a little bit, but that don't take away the fact that that's who you are, though. Like I said, Erykah Badu is a prime example of that. Like, Erykah Badu is extremely hood, and she will tell you. But she didn't want that life for herself or her children. But she was a product of that, and she took that, and it motivated her to go forward. I think that's what the sister was talking about, because I run into a lot of them. Because when I was, and that's the reason that a lot of black men end up not messing with black women, because they too quick to label them as hood when they're really not. Like, she's really not like that. Like, yeah, she might have been born in Scudderfield, out in North Memphis, and ain't never been out in North Memphis. But when she got to the University of Memphis, she saw a different lifestyle. She knows she ain't got to do that, and she cleaned it up. But just because she came from Scudderfield, just because her family.
No, but we're talking about the cleanup process. We're talking about the cleanup. So that's what we're talking about. And but even a lot of people that have that mentality ain't never worked with black people before. Ain't never experienced some of the things that a lot of us have when trying to reach out to those people. Because those are the same people that will get you locked up, the same people that will tear down whatever it is you're trying to build, the same people that don't have certain morals and character in place. And that's something that people don't want to acknowledge. Like I said, you know, if that's you, that's cool. Like I said, if you have a goal, we have the means to go out and get it. Period. So there's no excuse. I'm not from a big city. I'm definitely in the country. Definitely in the country. So, but there were certain things that I want, and there are certain things that I did go out and get that I wanted. And I went and got them. I figured out what I got to do to go get it. I'm going to get it. You know, and to talk about Erykah Badu, also remember this. Erykah still got 3 babies with 3 different baby daddies and walking through the streets, you know, butt naked. So let's not confuse what we're talking about. I mean, when you look at somebody, let's not just look at them just because they have money or that they, you know, achieve certain things that, you know, everything else just kind of goes out the window. Because everybody knows if you come across a woman with 3 kids with 3 different baby daddies, you know what you're getting.
But so what would you say, hood, Kim? Like, I want to know your...
I'm not saying hood. Y'all said hood.
But
I ain't saying that.
Y'all the ones that are trying to defend the hood chick with the heart of gold.
I
ain't trying to defend it.
That's just a term that we know everybody can relate to.
No, I can't relate. No, everybody can't, because I can't relate.
But
I don't know what
people
y'all talking
can.
about.
Most people can. On a normal level.
But this is my thing, though, Sister Kim, and this is really a legitimate concern of mine. Is because, and I'm telling you, I went. Okay, it's so funny. The high school I went to in Memphis is so funny. Half the district was I went to the #1 public academic high school in Memphis, White Station High School. That school was split because of the integration. Half the district was Orange Mound. Orange Mound is where 8-Ball, MJG, that's where they from. People they find in, you drive over there, you finding bodies on the interstate. And the other half was zoned out for a place called Germantown, which where these people got leather floors in their house, right? So you got the brothers who going to White Station. Now all of a sudden you from the mound now. You off of Southern and Greer. You from off of Southern and Greer. You get to White Station, and you get around these females that go to Ridgeway and all this other stuff. They got a little money, and you forget it was that girl next door who going to the same school as you from the same daggone project that you from, that ironed your bed sheets and taught you how to iron your pants and stuff. You forget her because you finna get a scholarship to Vanderbilt, and now you're attracted to Anya-Reet Patel, who's never had to ever get her lights cut off. And you run around with her because it looks good to your Vanderbilt buddies, them Vanderbilt jerks you around. But it's that sister who was really looking out for you when you didn't have lunch money, who when you didn't know how to match your clothes and your shoes, it was her. And it's sisters like that get overlooked by these little bougie girls because
if that woman exists and if that woman was there for you, why didn't you put her up on game so she could go to Vanderbilt with you?
Because that's what I'm saying. Like, they go into the same school, doing the same thing. It's just the fact that y'all came from the same hood. You just, like, a lot of black men just assume that because a lot of these women don't come from these, you know, these spoon silver fed households, that they family was lazy and shiftless and whatever. It's that implied racism that gets put into a lot of black men. Like, yeah, man, you gotta leave her alone, bro. You going to Vanderbilt now. You going to TSU. You going to Mississippi State. You ain't got time to mess with that girl. She going to Morehouse. Yeah, she might be a doctor, but look at where she come from. She ain't nothing. And like, I get once you get your money, the first thing she gonna do is want you to clear her mama's credit. Now that ain't got nothing to do with her. Now this girl is going to school to be an attorney, and I know this is something that's happened. I've seen it. She going to school to be an attorney because she saw her brothers getting locked up in and out the system. She vowed that she would never do that. She'd be on the right side of the law. That happens a lot. So you got a lot of black women who go through that because a lot of black men just assume, okay, because she had a rough upbringing, that she can't be possibly be valuable to society. And that's why a lot of black men, and this goes back to the original topic, is why black men end up messing with white women, because of stuff like that. Well, I know her family ain't gonna be asking me for money. I know I ain't got to fight her crazy boyfriend or ex-boyfriend or baby daddy that just got out. You know, it's the stigma that's attached to the system.
Because I'm not gonna fight them, and I ain't gotta clear somebody else's credit. I'm sorry, y'all keep making excuses for people.
It's not an excuse. It's something that's actually happening. And that's a big part of the reason that a lot of black men aren't messing with black women when they reach a certain financial level. So that's something we're gonna have to look at. We got to, you know. And I guess I'm kind of biased because I grew up around them, but it's still something that we're gonna have to deal with. Can we help deal with each other's past? Because I ain't gonna lie, I done some stuff that a lot of females couldn't mess with me about because of the type of work that I've done and the stuff that I was in the paper for. So I'm like, yeah, if you're trying to be a politician, you can't deal with nobody who put somebody in the hospital. You can't do that. You know, it's stuff like that. Our past separates us. So, like, you know, I guess the question is...
But if I'm a politician, I'm not looking for you.
But,
you know
but
what
exactly,
I want.
So, but how can you say that?
I need somebody that moves in the world that I move in. And it's called exploring different cultures and having different experiences. There is a world attached to a person that puts people in the hospital. I don't care if you got a good heart or not. That's not a world I'm trying to live in.
But I guess what I'm saying is, if that person is not in that world anymore,
disposable.
What now?
Are they disposable?
That depends on if you want to go back and grab that person.
Well, not so much as going back and grabbing them. It's just that's just who they are. Like, okay. For example.
No, there are certain people that I know that are in my family or whatever that I can't take to certain events. They ain't coming.
I'm not talking about that. I ain't talking about the ones
They're not
that you.
gonna get the invite. They're not coming.
But I'm not talking about the ones you can't take nowhere. I'm talking about the ones that, let's say y'all meet up at the Lions Club or something like that, and y'all going back and forth. Y'all, okay, what do you do? I have a business, you know, I'm doing fairly well for myself. Well, I'm a politician. We should get together and do lunch. So now come to find out that this millionaire was a felon. Well, yeah, I did this. That was my past. Now I have so many businesses. I travel the world. This is what I'm doing now. You know, I got a youth outreach program that goes back and teach these young boys not to be doing that. Yada yada yada. You know,
so he made better choices.
Yeah, but he still got that tag attached to him because of where he's from and what he's done in his past life.
Not necessarily, because you don't wear that on your sleeve.
No, but that's something you find out.
Yeah.
Finding out about a person after you meet him, because like I said.
Yeah, but the world he exists in now is not that same world. Whatever it was, he had to change. He had to figure out, okay, I'm going to get out of this. I'm going to figure out what I need to do to get there. What do I need to change? What do I need to learn? How do I need to talk? Who do I need to know? I'm about to do it. And that's what we're talking about. Making better choices, developing a plan, and getting there. If you still want to bring the person from your past or whatever, that's fine. Bring them. But I guarantee you, certain things may not be available to you because of the just the choices that you make, not even on a higher level. If I choose not to ever leave my house, guess what? I'm not going to meet people. Period. It's the choices that you make. If I choose to work at McDonald's, I'm probably not going to have a Mercedes. If I choose to, whatever choice you make puts you in a world or in a category. It's mathematics. Period. It's certain. If I don't include flour in a cake that I'm baking. It's not going to be a cake. So you have to you got to make better choices. And it's all about where you want to go and what you want to do. Hold on just a second, teacher. It's about where you want to go and what you want to do, period. I'm not trying to bring my hood, whomever, or whatever y'all call them. Like I said, I don't know what you mean by that term. I'm looking at in terms of low life, and then you got some people with manners, some that don't have manners. People with character, people that don't have character. The hood term, I don't know. Let me bring in, I think this is Brother Byron. Greetings, Byron. The hood term, I don't know. Let me bring in Brother Byron. Oh, there's Greetings, Byron. The hood term, I don't know. Let me bring in
if that's your head. And she ain't doing it.
Brother Byron, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. I don't know what happened. Okay, that was weird. Go ahead.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello?
Hello?
Please.
We can hear you. Can you hear me?
Peace, Sister Kim. Peace. Hello.
Peace, how are you?
Peace, everybody. I'm okay, thank you. I'm very well, thank you very much. So, to tell the truth, there must be a reason why you can hear me, because I didn't press the button to come onto the call.
Oh.
If I did, I didn't do it deliberately. So, but I am here. Can
you hear me now?
I think, yeah. Can you hear me now? I'm right here. Sister Kim.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Greetings. Can anyone hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you. Okay.
Delay.
I don't know what happened with Brother Byron. I don't know what's going on.
Is someone driving?
Okay. So anyway, maybe he'll come back. I think his call dropped, but he'll probably come back in a little later.
He calls through Skype, right?
Yeah, because he's in another country. But anyway, just to get back, we kind of got off of the movie.
Yeah.
But we can kind of continue the conversation. I know Dietrich has something he wanted to say. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah. I was just saying, I don't think, and this is just, I guess, from people I've seen do it, I don't think as black people that we should be so quick to write people off because of their past. Because I know that's something, a prime example of that is Marshawn Lynch. Like, we all know Marshawn Lynch is hood. But Marshawn Lynch has been negotiating truces with gang members in the Bay Area. He's been doing mentorship programs. He's been building schools in Haiti. Like, he wanted another life for himself, his brother, and his family. But it's the fact that that's just how he is. He has that stigma attached to him. And a lot of the sisters go through that with these black men who reach a certain financial level, because it's embarrassing to have a chick around you when you're around people who never was like that. No matter how much she wants to have a different life, no matter how bad she want to change her circumstances, if you in the process of changing yourself and then people keep bringing up what you've done in the past, then will black people ever be able to get over that? I just, as far as loving black, as far as, choosing black women again, that's something black men going to have to deal with. Can you deal with their baggage? And is their baggage holding them back, or is their baggage motivating them, not moving them? I guess
holding
that's
them
my
back.
thing.
I'm going to give you the answer. It's holding them back. Because black men have answered that question. And that's why they're not dealing with it.
I guess I'm gonna have to have another brother perspective, because I know a female. My ex is like that. Like, she's from Chicago, South Side Chicago.
Your what?
My
ex
is like that.
not
Yeah.
your wife, your ex. It's an
Yeah,
ex for a reason. And I'll give you another example just to go back on something else you said about what was the guy's name? Marshawn somebody?
Marshawn
Lynch.
Right. Now guess what? I don't have a clue who that is. You know why? Because that's a world I don't exist in. That's a world I don't even want to know about. And I will probably never come across this person. Or the gang violence and all this other kind of stuff that he solved, created, whatever it was. Not saying that I'm better or worse or whatever. It's just we have different experiences and a different goals. I'm not around gangs, so I'm not, as far as truces and all that other kind of, like, that's a world I'm not trying to exist in. I'm not coming from the world I'm trying to reach a goal to get to reach over into that world and be a part of that just to have that experience. I'm just not.
Well, there's not a lot of black in that world.
I don't want the gang stuff. You can have that.
He does.
And if somebody in that world has reached a certain plateau in their world to where they overcame, that's awesome. I think it's great.
I think my man is just speaking on a more all around view, as far as like just giving that example, as far as how to, look like taking somebody's past and holding it up against them, like you say, just because he come from the hood or act hood, it don't make him a bad person, or it don't mean that he shouldn't be dealing with any other type people or trying to get people where he came from to do better. I think that's what more the brother trying to say, as far as just
what did I say that supports that I'm saying forget about people trying to do better?
No, because you say you don't bring the hood with you. Like his thing is this. He's trying to create a better environment for the
people in his world. Right.
Yeah. So like
that's
for
fine.
Black people, like y'all
don't say for black people. Don't say for black people, because there's one black person that's not in that world. I don't know who he is. I'm not. So I don't know nothing about that.
No,
and
that's not what I'm saying.
Stop lumping all black people together. Because I'm not trying to save all black. I'm telling you right now, I'm not trying to save all black people. I'm not.
And he ain't neither.
Some of y'all gonna be left behind. Period.
Well,
just like black women are being left behind right now because we can't get our mess together.
But that's cool.
So we should work within our constraints. So the Marshawn Lynches and the hood chicks with the hearts of gold and those groups of black folk should work within their constraints. And then let's say the quote unquote, and I'm throwing up the quote air signals, conscious woke people should work within our constraints to better ourselves. And then maybe at some point we'll all come together.
No, I'm not trying to come together. Like I said, the multiverse, we have a multiverse. Now, like I said, go back and look at this in terms of Odus. There are tons of Odus. There are hundreds of Odus. The one that I'm trying to be in, guess what? I'm going there. That's the Odu I want to be in. I don't want to be in this other one over here. So guess what? I'm going to that one. I'm going to this planet. This is the planet I want to be in. This is where I'm going. I can't bring that other world into this world. I can't bring it.
Well, I guess,
so I can make a choice. I can either exist in the world I'm trying to get to, or I can stay where I'm at. Or I can stay where I am.
Okay, I guess
it sounds personal.
Yeah, but
go ahead.
This is the point. This I guess this is what I'm kind of confused about, because for example, for me, I want people to feel as good as I am, as I do. I want people to feel as empowered as I feel. So if I know that you're hurting, I mean, but you know,
all people won't. All people won't.
But we all know all and every is a sign of ignorance. So no one's gonna say all gonna do anything. But it's just part, I guess, as giving back to the community that which you came from. Like, look, this is what I went out and learned. Why don't y'all try this? Oh, okay, that's cool. Tell us more. Or, man, hell no, I'm good. I ain't gonna do all that. Oh, well, good. Well, you stay where you at. But the ones that's in those positions that was like me, because a lot of us that came into consciousness was not born into consciousness.
Word.
We had to mess with somebody who brought us into it,
you
had to
do the research and find it out for yourself because you made the choice that you were not going to stay ignorant.
Exactly.
So
but
you
still,
did the work. You did the work to go figure that out. And so now, because you did that, it brought you into a whole other world of people who are reading the same books and are doing doing similar things. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
And you're absolutely right. There is personal accountability into everything, but it's always that one person who done been where I've been, who look back and like, man, I remember when I was like that. Here, why don't you look at it like this? And it's it's teaching a person how to fish. That's like saying that that's like a person that say, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. You teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. Now a millionaire was like, why you around people who ain't eating? Why are you even around them? You know, so I guess as looking as people who have risen into higher levels of consciousness, who are going places that a lot of black people just didn't think they could go. A lot of black people don't even have the mind to even research certain stuff. It's to be like,
okay,
hey,
well,
man,
guess
look.
what? I can't talk to them people. If you too lazy in this day and age to go figure it out, I can't help you.
Well, it sounds like, I mean, the brothers got a better heart than you.
Do you think Oprah Winfrey hangs out with broke people? She
Yeah,
came from absolutely nothing. She came from nothing.
Africa and build schools all the time. Like she's always around.
Wait. Losing my point. She came from absolutely nothing. Along the way, do you not think she helped and tried to bring certain people with her, and that she paid people and took care, gave money to all of these so-called people that didn't have anything and that she grew up with and all of that kind of stuff?
But didn't that make her karma good?
But
though?
now that she is where she is, do you not think that she has been burned by those very same people?
Yeah. But
okay.
But don't chiefs get burned by people who don't appreciate them?
Wait. So, knowing that, you make the decisions about who you're going to try to help and who you're going to just let go. You got to do it. I will do what I can to help, but the moment you turn around and stab me in the back or something happens, I'm cutting you off. I have gotten my head busted way too many times trying to help black people. So I know, and like I said, this is nothing new. This is nothing. These same people that you're trying to help will be the ones to tear your stuff down. As soon as they don't get something they want, or as soon as they feel like they should have more than what they deserve.
But
I
ain't that what Gabrielle Union doing right now?
And just like
you can't
Chief
say that about all of them, though.
And just like Chief has said before, he's been in this for 20 plus years doing this work, and he has suffered at the hands of these people that y'all talk about to go back and get. Have crippled him a few times, but he still got back up and did it. So as a result, you got to make better choices of people to be around. You got to make better choices of who you can help and who you can't help. You got to make better choices of who you let in your inner circle and who you don't. Or you make a choice to feed a person so much and then take your hands off. You have to protect yourself, period.
But ain't that what Nate Parker going through with Gabrielle Union right now, and all these other educated black women who ain't hood that's still doing the same thing a hood chick would do? That's what I'm saying. Like,
Did I not say this at the beginning of the show?
But that's what I'm saying. So if black men and black women know this about each other, and we know, okay, we're gonna take them lumps and them L's because we're still dealing with oppressed people. Because if that's the case, then none of us should even be. What's the point of even discussing any of it if we're not gonna shed light on people who in the dark? So, like, I guess in my opinion, and I can't speak for everybody else. I agree with you, my life purpose is a little different than everybody else's on the line, and I can respect that. But my thing is this: if black men are going to love black women for who they are, not for what they was, I think that's the only thing that we're gonna be able to do to stop considering that white women
who are
is
black
such an
women?
upgrade.
Answer
to
that question for me.
Who are black women? It depends on where they from. Like, you have different types of black women. Like, you can't.
It depends on where they're from. Okay.
Yeah,
Let me go to another caller, DJ. Let me go to another caller. This is 314. Peace. You're on Community Radio.
You know, I listened to the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you and with him also. You're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be able to say. Well, no, I'm sorry. I treat everybody nice, and I give them one chance to, go against me. Then I don't have anything else to do with them. No need for them. Another point. As far as the brothers are concerned, and men both. Women and men both. The people that you're going to mess with, you should do thorough background checks on, especially if you're talking about a relationship or a marriage. Thorough background checks. Mm-hmm. Because you need to know who it is. If it's your daughter, your son, you need to know who they're going to get involved in.
Right.
I don't want my son marrying some female that don't have 15 abortions. Because when time comes for him to try to produce a child, you're going to try to conceive and produce a child in a haunted house. That don't work too well.
Well, what about the hood chick with the heart of gold, or the Erykah Badu's who are now deep but got 3 baby daddies? See, these are the kind of people that Dietrich and them are rallying for, and I'm telling you, you got to make better choices. I'm not saying Erykah Badu doesn't have money; she has money, but like you said, look at the whole person. Not just pick out one or two things. Yeah.
You not only got to look at them, but you got to look at their family. Mm-hmm. Because you could be laying up in bed at 3 o'clock in the morning, they get a call, I got to go get my cousin out of jail or some stuff like that. So all those things are very, very pertinent. I don't want my daughter marrying some dude that every other word that come out of his mouth is I mean. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's just not good practice. It's just not good. Right. So I just wanted to add that little bit to what I'm hearing discussed here.
Yeah. And like I said, if you want to do better, guess what? You gotta figure out what's required and you train for it. That's all I'm saying. A person that doesn't have that drive to do that, that's not somebody I'm getting with. Simple as that. Why should I be the one that's working hard trying to improve certain things in my life? Why am I going to bring myself back down to someone who's not going to do that, who doesn't have that drive, but they're sweet? How far can I get with that person? So it's not, everybody's getting emotional, and I don't think people are really hearing me or thinking about what I'm saying. Let me see. I think this is Brother Byron. I'm going to try to bring him back in, too. Thank you, caller 314. Brother Byron, are you there?
Peace. Yeah, I'm here. Peace, Sister Kim. Peace. I will that everyone's okay. Good discussion. Mm-hmm. What I would like to say is, for me, it comes back to, as a man, it comes back to family, and the reason why a man is in a family and has a family. And secondly, it comes back to the role of a man as opposed to a woman. So, as a man, I think Chief referred to it in one of his recent shows. He's able to approach different types of men or energies to deal with particular situations. And so if I'm looking at in my life now, I know a range of men. So, you know, I'm a Jamaican man, so I know Jamaican men. Some of them are doing straight, some of them may not be straight in terms of their lifestyle, but I know them. That doesn't mean to say that they have to come to my house, because my house is where royalty. My house is where royalty lives. Now, I'm in my day job. I'm dealing with a lot of middle class people, Africans, Asians, white people. I'm not going to behave as though I don't have anything about me when I'm dealing with those people, because not that I don't know alternatives. When I'm dealing in my professional arena, I have to deal and work and manifest myself professionally. So for me as a man now, it's not the fact that, and as a man, really, it is better for me as a man, to have a woman who is pure. When I'm saying pure, doesn't have a whole heap of history and baggage. It's better for me to have somebody. So you mentioned Erykah Badu. God, you know what I mean? I've got nothing against the lady, but if I'm advising my son, because I've got family, I've got children, I've got older children, if I'm advising, as the brother said before, if I'm advising my children about who their future or lifetime partner will be, then I'm going to say, you go for the top of the tree, because you want high quality. You come from high quality and you want to continue to produce high quality. I'm not saying despise or look down on people who aren't high quality.
Exactly.
But you're giving yourself more work, physical work, and physical headache if you're dealing with somebody that's operating on a lower vibration. So lower vibration people do have a place in the world, and they do have their own destiny, and they are more useful at doing some things than what I am. And when I need that energy, I might need to call on a couple of low vibration people to help with certain situations. But they don't know where I live, and they don't come into my house, and they don't know my family.
Okay.
You understand? So we have to, as a man, we have to be logical and discern the qualities of people, and for what usefulness. And I'm not saying it's a case of using people, but what usefulness they can have in our lives for particular situations. And another thing that I wanted to just focus on is, Brother Dietrich was saying, I think he said the phrase, for black men to love black women. Okay? Again, another thing that Chief said regarding relationships, it is the black woman that needs love. The black man, the African man, needs respect and honor. So if we're walking in a straight line, doing what we're doing, and showing our level of independence and potential as a single person, we will attract high quality women, because we're doing high quality stuff as single young men. If we're vibrating in a way where we're dealing with where our lives aren't on a high path, then we're going to attract females of that ilk. Yeah? I'm not saying that high quality men can't attract low vibrating women, but if they're vibrating at a higher level, they'll be able to discern that that person's not the right person for them.
I agree.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. So I think it's very important that a man must understand that it is their way, their responsibility to cut the path, to show the direction, and to say, you come and be my mate because I am up here. And it's not a case of we want to bring somebody from our bootstraps up to our level. We want females who are up there so we can ensure that they are protected, and that when they have our children, they are protected, to go even above where the man is. Because we're making sure that everything is in place for the woman to nurture the children and to elevate the family. And to elevate the family, we're going to elevate the communities in time, and then we'll elevate our nationhood.
Right.
So for me,
Thank you.
yeah, I know Marshall Lynch. Marshall Lynch was an American football player, and yeah, he was I would call him a road man or a street man. He was a road man, and he's done well, and he did some good works. And if Marshall Lynch is preventing gang violence in the Bay Area, respect to the brother, yeah. But that doesn't mean to say that everybody can't aim to have a life or an experience higher than where Marshall Lynch came from. And then if we want to support people who are struggling, we can do that. But we have to use our own head and decide, number one, is it... Okay, so you see me, I'm trying to live the life as best I can. And it's only when somebody shows an interest in what I'm doing, and they might say, Byron, I know you do something, you know, but I'm not sure what it is. But what you're into, what you're dealing with, I'll have the conversation. I'm not going to just have a conversation with any and everybody. I haven't got the energy or the capacity to be saving the world. But if somebody shows a spark that they want to elevate themselves, I will help them.
Right.
Because time is precious, and we want to invest our time in supporting things that are going to be sustainable. Yeah? So that's what I wanted to say. And love to everybody. Yeah? But sometimes as a young man, basically as young men, we need to be very clear on what we're doing and make sure that we attract what we want into our lives. So if we're operating at grass level, we're going to get slugs and grasshoppers. If we're operating in the stars, we're going to get heavenly bodies. So it's up to us what we want to do.
And you can get it.
Yeah.
If you start off as a grass, on a lower level, you can reach for the stars. There's no excuse.
Of course.
There's no reason why you can't have that. But what I'm hearing from a lot of people on the call is that they feel that they are those, maybe you are still one of those people who have not risen above your situation. Maybe you feel a little convicted behind it because you haven't done the things that you need to do to get out of that position. I really think that may have something to do with it. Like, are you feeling a little convicted because you come from that and you have not surpassed it yet, or maybe you haven't done the things that you need to do or put the plans in place to do that? Because I find that when talking to people like this, when talking about subjects like this is what it is. When I first started studying or coming into consciousness, or whatever you want to call it, just in different black think tanks, for the most part, when you come into contact with a lot of these people, they are not the best people financially, character-wise, or anything else. And they look down at wealth and education because they don't have it and because they haven't done anything up to where they are to get it. So that's even part of the problem that we have now, is that a lot of black people don't respect scholarship or don't respect the training process. They just feel like, well, I can just YouTube it and I got it. I ain't got to go through what you went through to get it. I don't have to do that. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is 314 again. You are absolutely right.
Yeah.
The ones that's out there, and maybe they're not supposed to, but the ones that's out there that's supposed to be conscious, the ones that's out there that's revolutionary, black national, and Pan-African, cannot lead that group nowhere. They don't have the capabilities, they don't have the discretionary monetary funds, and they don't have the education. Nope. Can you imagine, you listen to them talk and they down on capitalism? Who in the hell in their right mind is going to be down on capitalism for what capitalism really means? They're down on they say, oh, you're getting an education to go get a job.
Right.
Well, in some categories, you got to work for somebody else to learn what it is that they are participating in. You can't go to Harvard and learn it. You can't go to Yale. I was a structural steel erection. I put up office buildings like the ones that fell down in 9/11. I couldn't go to Harvard and learn that. I had to do that in the field. So some of the things that they be saying is totally whack. Another thing, black male. See, there is no black men to the extent there should be. You got a lot of black males running around. But black men, if they was to and this thing about coming together too is crazy as hell. But
Yeah.
if you had a cartel and you sat down and directed your energy, your efforts, and your ideas as far as controlling the aspect in your economic markets, rather than letting these outside foreigners come in and take control, that's shameful. It is totally shameful. Oftentimes, we complain about that prostitute that stands on the corner and goes to a hotel and let a man enter her body. But when you let foreigners enter your economic market, who's the greater prostitute? They run buck wild in your economic markets. So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, and it's true, and that's why I said I think that. Oh, go ahead, Brother Byron.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I was to follow up on what the brother 314. I don't know your name, brother, but what you were saying, it's quite coincidental. I was speaking to two brothers today, who their lifestyle is, we don't want to deal with the system. And these are grown men. These are my age group. We don't want to deal with the system. Blah blah blah, etc. Okay. And so I was challenging them. I said, but what you've done, okay, you've come to a position where you don't like Western society, but what you haven't done, and you're grown men, you haven't created an alternative reality. So recognizing where you are is one point, but you can't live your life saying, I'm going to drop out of society and do what?
Right.
You need to create an alternative reality so you can develop your family wherever that alternative reality is. And it's not just about recognition. Recognition is the first baby step. Recognition. What are you going to do after you recognize?
And I think going back to what you and the last caller said, it's a huge problem because we don't respect scholarship, we don't respect the training process, but just like the caller said, anything that you set out to do, you're going to have to study under somebody to teach it to you, including African spirituality. That is the process. And for the most part, when you come into the conscious community, they're full of these people who, like some of y'all are changing your story now. Some of those that were rallying for the hood chick with the heart of gold, who are they're full of that. They're full of men, like Byron said, who I'm against the system. I can't have a bank account. I don't trust bank accounts. I don't. I want to get out of the system and just drop off the planet. It's full of that. But like Byron said, they have not developed any type of alternative. So back to what I was saying initially is that at some point you have to look at where you are and decide, okay, I got to do better. I'm tired of seeing black men with white women. Something is wrong with us. What do black men say it is? Let me fix it because I'm tired of seeing it. And I don't want my daughter to have to end up being a single woman. I got to make better choices. I got to train. I got to figure out what is it that's wrong with me that's making me undesirable to the mate that God chose for me or that the Creator chose for me.
That was going to be my next question to the men. And maybe that can kind of be a blueprint for us as women. What is it that you guys want to see in us, and what is it that we're doing wrong? Because I don't think some of us even know that. Like, we don't even know how to be anymore. You know what I mean? Because you got your, Shea Butter natural chicks, and then you got the Nicki Minaj pop-up booty chicks. What is it that a real black man, a real man, not a male, like the caller said, a lot of black males running around. What is it that a good, upstanding, quality black man, what is it that you guys want to see in us?
If I could go, I think I'm probably older than anybody here on the call. But let's put it like this: as far as looks is concerned, I like seeing women in dresses. I get tired of these tight ass booty pants. I like to see women in dresses. I don't want to see it with no bird wing eyelashes. I don't care if everybody from the back look the same when you look at their hair. You understand what I'm talking about?
Right.
They need to be educated. So when we sit down and have a conversation, we can talk about geopolitical events and not just what LeBron James scored the other night, or about Nicki Minaj, or TMZ, if I'm saying it right. If I want to raise a family, I want a woman to know about raising a family. So she would have had to have coming from a functional family, not a dysfunctional family. We got a whole bunch of them, a functional family. And here's another thing too. I want her to have come from a background where you had a father. Because how can you know what to expect in me if you never have seen it worked out between your mother and your father? You don't know. You can't listen to or go to Oprah Winfrey show or listen to Dear Abby if she's still around. So the blueprint is there. It's a tried, proved, and tested blueprint that we run away from. Women, you cannot complain about the men that you're running to nowadays when you played a major part in raising them. You are absolutely disgusted with what you are producing. It don't work that way. I'm sorry. Let somebody else ask that question.
I think you're absolutely right. Like I said, Shahrazad Ali covered all of this back in the 80s. And going back to what she said about women being the backbone of society, well, this is the society that you produce. And look what came out of your womb. So, I mean, you got to accept it. You got to accept it. This is what this strong black woman that's the backbone of the community. That's the black woman is God. All these, my queen, sister, blah, blah, blah. All those terms you give to yourself, that's what it produced. Quite simple. I mean, it's right in your face. So, trying to shift the blame or whatever, I mean, it's just not going to work. That's what you produce. This is where we are now, so what are we going to do about it?
Can I say something? In regard to the question, I would say that the vast majority of successful African men that I know in the UK have got African wives, okay? And I know that for a certainty there are many, many women in the UK, there's many African women who are single, who are wanting a man. It might be, I think it's the same phenomenon in America. So for me, I think it's important that the man has got his own questionnaire, as the brother was saying. The man should have his own questionnaire on what he wants from a mate, what he wants from his wife. He should be fully aware of what he can do as a man, and then assess whether or not any woman that he's seeing or courting or looking at to make his wife can complement his mission and agree with his mission for the family. So, and yeah, I know. The brother earlier was making some comments about eyelashes and so forth, but also for me personally, they must have natural hair. They must know how to maintain a home. My mother said something to me as a young child, as a boy growing up. She said to me, when I'm courting, I must go into the house. If I'm courting a woman and she's got her own place, I must go into the house, and you must inspect her kitchen and inspect her bathroom. And if it ain't ready, don't tarry there. That is what my mother said to me, because the way that somebody is trained and grown as a woman is very important, because the woman has such a massive impact on the home, more so than the man, because she is the nurturer and the carer of the children. So if you go into a home and you can see that things ain't right, then you really got to assess. It doesn't matter how fine she might look or how long her eyelashes are, what have you. Is this the right person? Does she have the right qualities to be raising my children in the way that I want them to be raised? Because if the environment is shabby, then one would assume that the way that the children are going to be raised is going to be shabby. Because if the house is if she's a single woman with no children, I'm not expecting the house to be shabby. Things have got to be right. You know, obviously, if a woman's got children, there's going to be toys here and there, and, you know, children do their thing. But, yeah, so that's what I would say. A man has really got to understand where he's going and what he wants for his family, and then choose a woman with complementary qualities and skills to support that mission.
That's right. And just to piggyback on what you said in the last caller again, Brother Byron, I want to make sure I direct everybody to Solutions for Dysfunctional Families, which is a book Chief wrote. And that book is about relationships, how to mate, and everything. And like the caller was saying about the background check, there is a list of questions in that book. I think it's about 100 and something questions, about 101 questions or something, where she says that this is a list that you can use to give to the person that you plan on being with. Let's sit down and talk about it. Answer these questions first. You know, so there's nothing.
And you know something else.
Wrong with it. Mm-hmm.
You know something else. You got women. And first of all, I want to tell y'all this. I am a racist. And I'm going to explain to you why. Because when I was a kid, and when I told my daughter, I told my daughter, don't bring home no Billy Bob. I told my grandson, don't bring home no Miss Daisy. Because that's what I was taught. So if you complain about these things you seeing going on, what is it that you taught your children? And I'm sorry. I mean, just the way I am. I married a Ghanaian. My American wife was my 10-year-old sweetheart. And we was together for nearly 40-some-odd years. She passed away in 2008. I had known her when we was 10 in the neighborhood. And I married her. I then married a woman from Ghana. I had to pay the family in order to marry that woman.
Right.
And I literally had to pay the family. It's like this. If what we have produced in our daughter is good enough to attract your eye, then it's worth something. It's like if you're going to go to bed, woman, if you're going to lay down with a man, if you ain't good enough for him to put a ring on your finger, then what are you laying down with him for? Over and over and over again. That's why Father's Day is one of the most hectic days in the hood, if you look at it like that.
Yeah.
Another friend of mine talked about this guy from Guinea. He married a woman from either Cote d'Ivoire or Ghana. When he got the time to take his wife, her grandmother went with them because she stayed with that couple for about 6 months until she made sure that her granddaughter was being taken care of right, treated the right way.
Yeah.
If it wasn't going down, guess what? She would bring her granddaughter back home.
Right.
So, as I said and you said before, like you mentioned in the book, the method has been tried, proved, and tested. We just need to stick with it.
Yeah. Yep. Or, like I said, or change what you're doing and get better. It's just, I just find that it's just too late to make excuses. If we have baggage, own your baggage, but do better. Change it. Get better. Put yourself in a better position.
Yeah.
And stop, and we won't have to have the screwed up face every time we see a so-called successful brother with somebody else of another race. Put yourself in a better position. Make better choices. That's all I was saying. That's all I was saying in the beginning. And do it. Just make the decision to do it. Come up with a plan and do it. That's it. And then, of course, we need to help other black women. We got to be there. Like we said it before in the show about self-hatred, most of the hurt that we carry comes from other black women. Comes from mama, comes from grandma, because they passed all this crap down to us and didn't give us the good stuff. So as we are learning more and getting better and cleaning up, you got to teach somebody else. Teach another black woman. If they're resistant, bye.
Okay, and that's where I think I was getting hooked up on, and I think Brother Byron just kind of clarified it for me when he was saying, you know, if he's walking in that light and someone stops him, he's like, look, I don't know what you're doing, but it's looking good on you. What is that? Mm-hmm. Then you hit him with the jewels. But you don't just go out of your way to just be grabbing folks all willy-nilly. Come on, right. Come and listen to this blog talk, or come and, you know, do this with me, you know, because that's exerting, like you said, too much of your energy that you probably should be using on your family and, you know, your children and things like that. So that's where I was kind of in limbo with. And because I constantly root for the underdog, you know, because I was the underdog, you know, like I constantly say in all these shows, I wasn't where I am now. I wasn't where I am last year in the beginning of this talk when I went to go see Straight Outta Compton. You know what I'm saying? So I've evolved even more even since then. You know, when I met my husband, I wasn't where I was now. I had it in the back of my head, but like I said, I put it down, and I was in a whole nother phase of life, you know, and he was there. He was already there. When we met, I was working at Red Lobster as a hostess and wanted to work across the street at the strip club because the strippers was coming in with the bankrolls. Yeah. And he was like, yo, if you plan on going across the street, I can't deal with you. That's not going to work. And that snapped me out of it. I was like, well, okay, well, I guess I'm not doing that then. But the fact, I think where I kind of see where Diedrich and them were coming from was if he would have left me right then, just because I said I was thinking about doing that. Where would I be? Where would he be? We wouldn't have the children we have or anything. He stuck in there with me. He didn't give up, you know. So that's where I'm kind of, again, playing devil's advocate on both sides. But I definitely see what Brother Byron was saying, and I definitely see what you're saying, Sister Kim, is we do have to be selective in who we choose to help and choose to enlighten. And they have to pull their weight by respecting the scholarship. Like you said, this stuff isn't easy. And even someone like Chief doesn't know everything. You know, I'm sure he's still learning stuff too, you know, and he's a chief, you know what I'm saying? So we're all on our own path of enlightenment, and we're all trying to get our families there and our friends and our wives and our husbands and what have you.
And some of them can't come. Sorry.
So,
it's some
of them can't go. You can't come.
They can't. Because it's, you know what, it would be nice, but it's not going to happen. Because most of us are in the condition we're in because of family. And because our family gave us crap. They don't have the same vision, period. So it's not my responsibility to give you the vision that I have. Either you got it or you don't have it. But I have suffered at the hands of too many black people. I have suffered at the hands of too many black people and too many low vibration thinking black people, even when you try to go back and help them. At some point, I just had to say, you know what? I'm done with you. I'm done with you. I'm not getting anywhere in life because guess what? Like they say, misery loves company. They're not going to be satisfied with you unless you right down there with them. And it's too many of us that have that mentality of, got to get back to the hood. Got to give back to my community. Well, guess what? You know, when you start off having this type of business or any other type of business, who are the people that don't support you the most? The people in your community and the people in your family. Those are the ones who don't want to pay you, who don't respect what you're doing, who don't even help you spread the word about what you're doing. Most of the time, most successful people have to leave their community and go somewhere else to be successful. And then once you've made it, now everybody wants to brag on you. Mm-hmm. That's how it goes. Oh, we got a doctor in the family. But guess what? When you were trying to get there, you didn't have support. You were talked about. You were everything else. So my point is, some people just don't have it. Some people just don't have the vision. You can waste your time and spin your wheels if you want to, but like Brother Byron said, if I'm walking in a certain direction and this person, you know, runs up to me and asks me a question, okay, what? I'm headed this way. Oh, well, I'm going back the other way. Okay, I'll see you later. I got to go this way. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm going straight ahead. I'm not going to go back in a different direction because just because you're curious. You know, I think Chief released a meme about that. Some people like to jump in your stuff and throw a monkey wrench in it just to have something to do.
Right.
You know, so it's just about making better choices, coming up with a plan.
Speak?
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to say, like, because I done experienced, like, I've been with my wife for like 13 years and all, but before she got into consciousness, you know, we separated for like 2 years. And that was part of the reason why. It was just, you know, two different levels in mind state. You know, we really wasn't on the same page about everything. So just kind of separated. But, of course, me coming back and taking the time to communicate with her on her level and, you know, pretty much bring the things that she wanted, you know, to the table or whatever, she started to open it up more and listen to me. So that's why I say I don't, and then, you know, in the midst of them 2 years, like, I had to go pretty much back to the streets because she was pretty much the only person that I had because I was conscious, and it was hard for me dealing with my family and what they believe because I come from a Christian family. You know, in the South, it's like a church on every block. So, you know, I had no one to go to as far as help. When I had a job, I had to, you know, ask friends for rides to work, and most of my friends are in the hood. And those, you know, they took me to work for free. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, like, even with the, you know, the hood situation, like, I done enlightened some brothers and some sisters, and actually they actually applying, you know, they self to it and making better changes in their lives. So, but with the whole, you know, with the relationship, I think it's just, like you say, the patience and really taking the time to look at yourself and look at the other person's conditions. If you choose to, you know, go a route that, you know, like you say, don't put yourself around people that's on a low vibration, but, you know, if you care about somebody, you already been with them. And, you know, even if, because I was with her before I just became completely conscious, you know, I was just studying a little here and there, but once my eyes really got open, the flame caught on, I didn't want to go back. You know, I didn't want to get immunization shots and stuff like that. And, you know, she was still with all that. So, you know, it made stuff hard, but now we on the same page. It just took time, man. I still go through little stuff here and there. You know, we still have our problems or whatever, but, I mean, overall.
And, you know, that's another thing, too. And my name is Pianki. The lady that's hosting the show, what's your name, Bam?
Kim,
that's another problem that we have, too. And we have to realize it. Because there are brothers and sisters out there who are in a predicament that they really didn't have anything to do with because they didn't know what was going on. They just showed up every day and thought that the outcome would be well suited. And I myself don't turn my back on them. Mm-hmm. I go out of my way to do things in whatever way that I can, whether it's monetarily or whether it's just giving advice. Because you just can't walk away from people who find themselves in those conditions. And that goes on a lot in our community. Those kids, when they go to school, they don't want to be failures. No. If Black Lives Matter, why is it that we continue as a society to let that happen to our young children in these schools?
Right.
If Black Lives Matter, why is it that we let our communities be pimped by these foreigners that come in and take out the economic wealth the way they do? Mm-hmm. So the dynamics is not as simple as we can make it in our conversation, because there's always two sides, and we know what that other side is. Mm-hmm. Yes, you got to do the best that you can for your own child. You want them to be the epitome and carry them as far as you possibly can. But at the same time, you have to have a moral compassion for those who don't have the opportunity and really didn't ask to be born.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right, I totally agree. Like I said, for those who, like Chief always said, like I said this earlier, if you don't have a family, go and get one. But at the same time, you still have to use some discretion, because like he has said, so many times those same children that he tried to help are the same ones that tore down a lot of things that he built. So you still have to be very careful in your selection process. Now, just about people who, not turning your back on those people, I'm glad there are people like that exist. And I'm one that like I said, I haven't turned my back on people. I have suffered at the hands of trying to help a lot of people that I should have turned my back on. So I totally understand. But just what we were saying about improving yourself and making better choices and raising your standard a little bit, I did not know. I came into this information about our new nation a few years ago. Prior to that, like I said, I didn't know about it. I was studying a different system or whatever the case may have been. But only until, I turned my dial up a bit or changed something in my thinking did I find something better and different. Now, I had to do that. I had to make those changes. There had to be a desire in me to do it. So when I did, something was there. But people got to understand this too. Nobody's going to give you anything. Nobody's going to give you anything. It's not. Nobody's going to just hand it to you. So there has to be something in you that wants to do better. Once you turn yourself to that frequency, different items pop up on the menu that you can choose from. And the more choices you make, certain things start to narrow. It gets more narrow, So the choices, I'm just saying, the choices that we make and the plans that we put in place are so important. You can't do anything without a plan, without a goal, without some type of target, and without changing yourself. Everybody has to change. There's certain things you don't know that you got to admit, I don't know. I can't be a good cook if I won't admit to myself that I can't cook. So guess what? You got to be able to say, look, you know what? I'm not good at this. I'm not good at that. I need some help in that. So let me go find a class. Let me find a cooking class. She just said many times, women are always saying, well, what do you want? What do you want? What are we supposed to be doing? but none of us actively go out and seek it. We don't have one book on our shelves about how to be a woman, how to do certain things. So we're not actively seeking it out. We're just waiting for something to just kind of drop in our laps or something. But just like black men have to go out and do what's required of them to get certain things, we got to do the same thing. That's just all it is to it. I mean, like the caller said, the profession that he had to figure out, okay, what do I need to become this? Okay, now I got to go train, because guess what? I don't know. So somebody has to teach me. Let me go find a teacher. Same thing with women. And it's sad now, because now we got a lot of silly old women. You used to be able to go to the older woman to help teach you and guide you and give you some advice. But we get bad advice from old women. So sometimes it's going to require that you step outside of American black culture, because that is what has poisoned us. So look to somebody else. Go find her. Go find a woman. And then when you find her and you learn something, you pass it on to someone else. So that's just all I'm saying. I think let's see, we have gone way over the time. So I'm going to, is everyone there?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I was trying to see if Blog Talk has cut us off, because we're like 47 minutes over. But we'll continue this discussion again on Tuesday. And for those of you who are new to the call, we have these calls every Tuesday and Thursday from 1 to 3 p.m. Same number, 347-945-7680. And make sure you pick up the 14 Keys by Chief, the new book that he has out. And we got a lot more stuff coming out. We have classes on seduluhouse.com. So much information in the archives on enlightenment and transformation. Those of you who don't know what to do, you're seeking a plan. Believe me, Chief has gone over this so many times about what to do, how to start, where to go. So it's not like we don't know. The problem that we're facing right now is just getting up and doing it. We got people out there who have told us now. So we just got to do it. I'm going to go ahead and close, because I don't know when they're going to cut us off, but we're almost an hour over now. So thank you all so much for calling in, as usual. And again, we're going to continue this conversation, because we actually didn't even get to talk about the movie. So maybe over the strong end, you all will get a chance to go out and see the movie, and we can actually talk more about the movie instead of some of the controversy surrounding it. But again, when you see it, it's going to bring those things up. Those conversations are going to come up. So we'll talk about it again on Tuesday. And until then, you all enjoy your day, and thank you for calling in. Peace.
Old double. Final.
Okay.